Hello, hello. I can see people saying hello. Let's fire that image over then, shall we? Whilst people are still filing in. So here is the graphic. We've got Orange Cassidy taking on Big Bill for the AEW All Atlantic Championship. We've got Toni Storm taking on Riho. We've got Hook against Matt Hardy for the FTW Championship. We're going to be hearing from MJF and Bryan Danielson ahead of their 60-minute Iron Man match. Now, obviously, that's this Sunday. We will be doing the watch-along for that. So if you're around, come and join us. We will be watching, reacting to that show. Then in the middle, we've got the Face of the Revolution ladder match, which I know we've seen this before, like the ring above the ring. But I honestly can't remember what it entails. Like, I know it's a ladder match, you get the ring, but I can't remember what you actually get for it. Like, do you get a title shot or something? I actually don't know what the prize is. So we've got that. Then we've got Chris Jericho against Pretty Peter Avalon. And then we've got the Casino Tag Team Battle Royal. So we've got that. This is, I think the winner of this goes into the match on Sunday, the kind of fatal four-way tag match. So, which is a bit strange because I think didn't Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett get added to that match thanks to a battle royal like last week? So now we've got another tag team battle royal, and the winners, I believe, go into that match this Sunday as well. So, as I said, a little bit strange, but that's the cards. It's a bit of a go home. At least we've got some matches like the Battle Royal, like the ladder match that are, going to mean something. A couple of championship matches, although I don't know really if the FTW championship really registers on many people's radars. The face-to-face should be very interesting. Looking forward to that. MJF, Bryan Danielson. Toni Storm, Riho, interesting to see her back. I don't know the last time I saw her. I feel like she came back not too long ago. And then before that, it had been a long time since we'd seen her. So, yeah, someone that we haven't seen a lot of, let's put it that way. So she's back and she's facing Toni Storm. So that is our lineup tonight. And as I said, looks all right. Looks all right. Travis said the winner of the ladder match gets a shot at the TNT champion. Thank you, Travis. I didn't know that, to be honest. I didn't know that. I have seen those ladder matches before. And as I said, I just can't remember what the prize for it was. So that's good. At least there's something at stake there, which is good. That's always been my criticism of King of the Ring, is that you can win this tournament, this King of the Ring tournament. You get the crown, you get the scepter, you get to call yourself king. It doesn't mean anything. Like no one cares about the person that's king. Like you really should get like a title shot or something along those lines. And it'll be very interesting to see how Triple H books that, because of course there's big rumors that we should be getting King and Queen of the Ring, maybe even as its own pay-per-view later this year. But that's a whole separate conversation. Defcon, Eric, and Jack Styles Playground, shout out to you, said, Days, if tonight's show is bad, I'm tapping out. Well, shout out to you, but I mean, I'm not going to tap out if tonight's bad, because obviously Sunday is Revolution. Revolution, I think, is very important for the company. I don't think it's a make or break for the company, but I do think that I'm just seeing more and more people saying the same sort of thing at the moment. I think a lot of people are waiting for things to really kick off, like just waiting for the show to really explode and for us to get some big feuds and things along those lines. So obviously, we were not going to get that before Revolution. And there's people out there that are really into the product at the moment. But as I said, the ratings last week were very good. I think that's down personally to the announcement. I think the announcement brought a lot of eyes to Dynamite last week. I'm not sure that this week it will hold the same number. I would expect this week to drop. Now, whether it drops back down to 800 odd thousand or if we see a decrease down to like the 900,000s, I'm not sure, but I don't expect this week to get 1 million. I do think that the announcement did a lot of heavy lifting last week. But this close to Revolution, like I feel like whatever happens tonight, watch Revolution, see what they do. That's really a big show for them. A big, big show. It's an opportunity to bring some people back or bring some people in or start some new feuds or turn some faces heel or heels face or split up some factions or whatever you want to do, right? You've got a big, big opportunity there because you're going to have about, 4.5 hours is a normal AEW pay-per-view. So you're going to have about 4.5 hours, which is going to be taken up with obviously the matches, but there's plenty of time to do some stuff at Revolution. So we'll see. I mean, I think the Iron Man match is going to be a lot of fun. Really looking forward to that. I think that we could see some new champions. Whether MJF loses to Bryan Danielson, I'm not sure. I can see arguments for going in either direction. I think they probably should put the belt on Bryan Danielson, just because I think that he is someone that the fans love. He's capable of fantastic matches. I think that MJF's title run has been a little bit flat. Is it good to abandon that title run right now? Debatable. I sort of think like I can make an argument for keeping the belt on him because the longer he's champion, the more you're going to get him over, the more you're going to like make him seem like an even bigger star. Because even though he's been one of the bright lights of AEW, he's still relatively unknown in the sense of you could probably show a picture of MJF to a lot of wrestling fans and they wouldn't know who he is. Like, because AEW has obviously reached so many people, but we know that they struggle to get to 1 million compared to SmackDown that does 2 point, whatever million. Raw doing 1.8 million, right? And even those of bad numbers, those are numbers that have declined. You go back a few years, Raw was well over 2 million. And, SmackDown was doing better as well. So we know the ratings have gone down. We know the ratings have declined. And, I just don't know how many people have been exposed to MJF. Or everyone here will have, of course, but I'm talking casuals. I'm talking those people that they're trying to get as viewers in the future. So MJF, with that belt, being the face of the company, like headlining shows, headlining pay-per-views, taking on future challenges. It's a bit like Roman, isn't it? Roman has had his belt for 3 years or whatever. And the longer it's gone, the more iconic it's become. Now it's a massive deal as to who's going to beat Roman. And I can see an argument for keeping the belt on MJF. People that are coming in and finding AEW for the first time, because those people exist. Those people, kids that are just getting into wrestling, discovering MJF. You never really think about those people. But with MJF on top, for as long as he can hold that belt, the more you are exposing him and making him a bigger star, that makes total sense to me. MJF, in a way, is a bit of a project because he didn't just get plucked from WWE. Not like Jericho or Danielson or people along those lines. So you're having to build him up from scratch, from a very low base, and they've done a fantastic job. Well, now he's at the top of the mountain. You don't want to take him off the top of the mountain too soon. That's my point, right? So I can totally see why you would want to stick with MJF. Equally, can't ignore how bad the ratings have been. The ratings have not been good. So I could understand Toni being a little bit nervous and saying, well, let's just go with Danielson. Let's go with Danielson. We'll get his face everywhere. We'll make him the champion. He's going to have banger matches. he has been a champ in WWE. Is a safe pair of hands, and he's a big star. People love him, and like, let's see what a Danielson run does for the ratings. I could totally see that point of view as well. So I genuinely don't know which way they're going to go. Genuinely don't know which way they're going to go. In fact, I would put a poll in. Yeah, we could put a poll in chat. I was going to say I'll put a poll in the chat, but I quite fancy asking you about the battle royal, who's going to win and everything. But there's quite a few in the battle royal. I don't have enough options to go with that, so we'll go with this instead. Who leaves Revolution as AEW champion? Who do you think is going to leave as champion? Do you think they're going to continue to keep MJF at the top of the mountain, continue to keep elevating him and getting him exposed to those that might not have seen him before, the kids that are coming in, as we said, people that are just flicking through the channels and discovering AEW for the first time? Like, are they going to keep him there so that they can keep him at the top? And also, you know, him being at the top of the cards, him having certain responsibilities that come with being champion, all of that kind of stuff. That's stuff that he won't have been exposed to before. Because before, he was not a mid-carder, but, you know, he was more important than that. But he was not at the top of cards. He was, like, in the middle, like, having his own feud with, like, Wardlow or whatever. And, you know, the champion, be it CM Punk or Kenny Omega, you know, they were off doing champion stuff. So, you know, do you want MJF to keep being nurtured as champion? Do you keep the belt on him and keep him at the top of the cards? Or do you make that switch? You make that switch because the ratings have been concerning. And do we go in a new direction? We'll put that in the chat, see what you lot think. I don't know. I really don't know. I think if I was Tony, I think what I would do, because I don't like sitting on the fence, is I think I'd put the belt on Danielson. I'd put the belt on Danielson because I can always go back to MJF. It's not that MJF is completely bombed and that's it. That's the end. I'm never going to push him again. But I think for now, where I am, the product feels a bit stale. My ratings have been down in the 800s. I feel like I need something to just wake everything up. I need something that's just going to... Before, what he would have done is he would have gone and got a free agent. You know, he would have gone and got a Miro, or he would have gone and got an Andrade, or he would have gone and got Saraya. Like, he would have gone and got someone to just wake everything up. And I don't know if that person is out there now because WWE haven't released anyone in a long time. And anyone that has been released that was noteworthy has been picked up, basically. I really don't know that there's really anyone out there now that you can go and get that's going to unless you go and get AJ Lee. But how likely is it that that's going to happen? And to be perfectly honest, having seen like what happened with Saraya and the fact that they brought her in and we've just gone through this bad patch, right, of ratings, kind of says to me that people aren't tuning in for Saraya, and I'm not sure people would tune in long-term for AJ Lee either. So bringing people in is a lovely little short-term bump, but it's not a long-term solution necessarily. CM Punk worked out well. I will give him credit for that. So I think I would be tempted to just wake things up, just shake things up, just, you know, give it a bit of a, you know, when you put the things on the heart, one of them, shock things and see what we can do. An angry MJF again, an MJF that's angry, upset, that's lost his title, could get something out of that. Bryan Danielson as champion, we're going to hear from him, hear what it means for him to be a world champion once again. You can get something from that. I feel like there's stuff there that you could get out of it if you made the title change. So yeah, I would do that. I don't like to sit on the fence. Interesting conversation. Godfather's Ho, shout out to you. Said, Days, I know how AEW can explode. If Jamie Hayter shows a full moon, I would explode in my pants, says Godfather's Ho. Godfather's Ho, shout out to you. I don't think a single person here doubts that what you just said there isn't true. And shout out to you, Godfathers. Defcon Eric and Jack Styles Playground said, I need to see MJF in the ring more. This is interesting. He just reminds me of every indie wrestler I remember from Long Island with screaming, loud promos and cheap heats. Interesting. I think, man, the MJF conversation is such an interesting conversation because I think he's very good with promos. I think that he's very good at getting personal with promos. He's very good at delivering promos that make you go, oh, wow, he went there, wow, he might have gone a bit too far this time. What his promos do is they definitely give you a talking point. His segments don't just come and go and it's like, right, well, there was MJF. Like, he gets a reaction out of you, and I really appreciate that. When his music hits and he's making his way down to the ring, you feel like you're about to see something. You feel like you're about to witness a talking point. And there's so many wrestlers that come out where you just don't feel that, or I don't feel that. The MJF for me stands out for that reason. Now, in ring, he is all right. He's not a bad wrestler. In ring is all right. He's absolutely fine. I think that he is capable of holding his own. He's a bit Miz-esque to me in the sense of, I don't think he does anything that impressive, but what he does is tidy. He's not someone that's botching, whatever it is that he is going for. Like, he tends to nail it, tends to do a good job, tends to be pretty clean and tidy in there. But is he someone that is capable of going in there and putting on 5-star classics? I think he needs the right dancing partner, to be honest. But then saying that, he's a heel. And as a heel, should he be going in there and having like 5-star classics? Or is it down to the baby face to, like, try and be the one to go in there and achieve that? So I don't know. It's a little bit debatable. It's a bit debatable. Is that what his role is? Is his role to go in there and have classics, or is his role to go in there, be safe, clean, tidy, get the job done, and then go back to the microphone and tell you how rubbish you are? Like, I don't know. It's a tricky one. It's a tricky one. I really like him. I think he's got, God, for his age, it's absolutely incredible, of course. World champion, yeah, I've got no problems with him being there. I've got no problems with him keeping the belts. But it does definitely feel like something's not quite right. And so it's very interesting hearing you say that you want to see more matches from him. Because maybe that's it. Maybe he's just too inactive. Perhaps it's just a case that he's a fantastic talker and we're just relying on that a bit too much. And I personally think that the stories have not been good enough. I think that we need better creative. I think that too many times he has made his opponent run a gauntlet and go up against a whole series of people in order to get to him. I think this is the third time he's done it in quite quick succession. And it just seems like this is like the only story we're able to tell with MJF. So I actually think that if he had some different creative, we could get somewhere interesting. We could do something interesting. So, it's hard to know how much is down to the wrestlers, how much is down to the creative. But yeah, as we said, Revolution, a big opportunity to shake things up, and we'll see how it goes. We will be doing it, as we said, this weekend. Daniel said, how about Tessa? I think there's too much bad publicity there, to be honest. I think that she is someone that, when she was about to be world champion in Impact, there was about 4 or 5 women that came out and spoke out against her. And one of them was, that she'd thrown some racial slurs around, racial abuse around, and, rightfully not tolerated, right? Not tolerated. And so, she didn't do a great job of, like, defending herself against that. She didn't come out and apologize, which, to be honest, if you haven't done anything wrong, if you really are innocent, then you shouldn't have to apologize. So I don't have a problem with her not apologizing as long as she is innocent. If she's guilty of it, then she needed to deal with that a lot different. But there was just a lot of women that came forward and accusing her of like different things. And then you look at like the fact that WWE didn't touch her. I mean, you're talking about someone that we can all see as a fantastic talent. If you've watched her matches, she is so good in ring. She is so good. There has to be a reason as to why WWE did not want to keep her around and did not want to bring her in. And the rumors were it was because of bad attitudes. That was the rumors. I think, didn't she also have a falling out with Women of Wrestling as well? And so she's not there now. And then you have to have a look at the fact that AEW have constantly looked to try and bring in wrestlers, bring in surprises, and they haven't brought in Tessa. So she's this great wrestler with this really bad attitude that's been accused of, some pretty serious stuff. And I just don't know what you do with it. I really don't know I don't know the way forward for her. I do think there should be a way forward as long as she apologizes and, she, I don't know, maybe goes on some courses to try and sort out whatever issues it is she's dealing with. I mean, people pointed out that she was in a relationship, I believe, with like Ricochet. So people were like, some of this doesn't quite add up. And I don't know where the truth is. I mean, it's always hard because you get like, you hear from the women, so you get their side of it, the ones that spoke out. You hear from Tessa, she was denying it, right? And so you don't know quite where the truth is. We weren't there. There's no footage of it. You just got like the two sides of the argument. The only thing I would say is there was a lot of women that came out and spoke out against her. And then you look at the companies that haven't touched her, haven't brought her in. And it does seem it does seem strange, doesn't it? It just doesn't look good. Tessa is definitely someone that would be a massive boost to AEW. I mean, but you can't just bring her in for that reason because she ain't going to be a boost if none of the fans like want her there, So I think I wouldn't touch her. I wouldn't touch her, but I hope that there's a way forward for her, because if she is like sorry, or if she regrets it and wants to be a better person now, and are we really just going to close the door and that's it? Your wrestling career is over. That's it. I mean, maybe that's the right thing to do. I don't know. Everyone's going to feel different about it. I do believe in second chances. I do believe in second chances. And you could make the argument she might have already had a second chance. She might have had a third chance. Maybe it is best that we just go, no, that's it. Done. Thanks. Like, that could be the right way forward on this one. Without like the detail, without like knowing more, it's hard to say. But I wouldn't go there. I wouldn't go there. But I am a believer in second chances. Aaron, shout out to you, buds. Hope you're well. Hope you're excited. Aaron, I know, is a big fan of AEW, so guessing this is going to be an exciting time as we build towards Revolution. We don't get that many pay-per-views out of AEW, so it's a big deal. Revolution on Sunday. It might not, for some people, it might not feel that way, but it is, because I don't think we've had an AEW show this year, or at least I can't recall one, like a pay-per-view show. So I think we tend to get 4 or 5 a year. So yeah, this is going to be a big one on Sunday. Malachi Black should beat MJF. Will CM Punk return? I really don't know. I mean, I don't know what conversation is happening in the background. CM Punk is someone that doesn't strike me as a very forgiving man. I think that if he is wronged and he feels like he's wronged, then you're dead to him. And I don't know. I think he came in to try and help that company. I think they helped him as well because, of course, he wanted to come back to wrestling. But I think in his mind, he was helping them as much as they were helping him. And I think that he feels probably, I mean, I'm having to speculate here, but he must feel really wronged. I mean, like you could tell from the interview, him talking about how, Hangman had been talking about him and how EVPs, he obviously had an issue there. There was a lot of animosity. I actually think that you could make an argument that more was revealed during his interview than the brawl. So we know there was a brawl and there was a fight, right? But I actually think that what he said was such an insight into like where he was mentally at that point. And then obviously you find out it leads to this brawl. But it was an incredible interview where he really lays into the EVPs and he really lays into Hangman. And, I mean, I just think that is very toxic. It's very, very toxic. It's going to be very difficult to get them onto the same page. It's going to be very difficult to find a way forward. Is it impossible? No, it's not impossible, but it's going to be very difficult. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like he loves his fans. I feel like he probably looks at Toni as being a bit weak because Toni is the one that's the owner of the company. And yet, you've got these EVPs running around and things being said in interviews and, like there's seemingly no repercussions there. And so it's sort of like you wouldn't get that with Vince. I mean, do you remember like JR was released because of comments that Ric Flair had made at some kind of 2K video game launch? There was like all these legends on stage. And I think Ric Flair had a bit to drink. And he started like, saying stuff, which wasn't even that bad. But things just started to get a little bit off script. Let's put it that way. And because JR was the one that was meant to be in charge of them all, he was the one that ended up losing his job. So the fact that like JR can lose his job over something like that, I'm sure there was other things going on as well in the background, but the fact that he can lose his job over that, and then like you look on TV and Hangman's about to have a match, Young Bucks are back, Kenny's still obviously around. Like, if I was CM Punk, I think I'd be looking at Toni and looking at that situation, and it would be, I'd be worried basically, because it does seem at times like the lunatics are running the asylum rather than Toni. So I don't know what his relation. I think he likes Toni. I think he probably there's a respect for Toni and what he's trying to do. But I just think, as I said, is he really in charge? Like, I think he can do certain things, but is he really going to put his foot down against Kenny? Is he really going to put his foot down against the Young Bucks? In a way, I suppose it's the same as Eric Bischoff and the NWO. Eric Bischoff was in charge, but was he ever going to put his foot down against Hogan? Was he ever going to put his foot down against the NWO? Like, at times, the lunatics in WCW were running the asylum. And I think there's shades of that here in AEW as well. And so I think that CM Punk could be looking at it going, I mean, do I go back there? I do like the fans. I like Toni. What's not to like about Toni? He's a nice guy. But can he get over the Hangman thing? Can he get over the brawl? I mean, his dog as well. His dog got caught up in it. And didn't they say that one of his teeth got knocked loose? I mean, that's it, isn't it, really? If the dog's tooth got knocked loose or whatever in the fracas, I mean, I can't. How do you get over that? How do you get past that? That's just, I mean, that's hard, isn't it? That's hard. So is CM Punk going to come back? It'd be, I'd love, listen, if this AEW All Access is All Access, then show me them conversations. Show me Toni and CM Punk sitting down, having open heart-to-heart chats. and getting this thing sorted. Because if you want ratings, that'll bring ratings, right? That'll bring ratings. Show me Toni trying to convince CM Punk coming back. So I would love to be a fly on that wall. Oh my god, man, that would be fascinating. Fascinating. Alfie said Toni Storm should pick up a win tonight. She's had too many losses, and I think a push is needed as well. Aries said, imagine M-Dub and Parker do swerve and the Mogul affiliates a favor and win the titles from the Guns. Who would win? Parker versus Guns AEW champion. I'm not feeling Parker. I haven't seen much of him. They're not really using him a great deal on Dynamite, are they? I haven't seen loads of Parker. Is it Budzo? I haven't seen loads of him. So I think Guns are a good team, credible team. I think we can build them up. I think I don't know what we're going to do in regards to taking the belts off them soon, though. I think I'd leave the belts on them, to be honest. I think I'd leave the belts on them and continue to build them. It's an interesting question, actually. Until we know the final team that goes into that fatal four-way, it's hard to know who's going to come out the winners and who's going to win because I don't know who the final team is. I don't think Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal need the belts or even deserve the belts, to be honest. So I wouldn't put the belts on them. Then you've got the Acclaimed, who recently had the belts. I wouldn't go back to that. They had the belts. It was a lot of fun, but it's done. So fine. And the Guns have got them. So right now, I would keep them on the Guns. But as we said, we need to find out the next team to add into that. And we find that out tonight. Dylan said, who do you think will win on Sunday between Elite and House of Black? I think it probably should be the House of Black. I think that this was a good way of bringing Kenny back after a long injury. I think Kenny showed at Wrestle Kingdom that he is capable of having singles matches. And what a singles match it was. But was it a case that everything went into that match and he's not capable of doing it on a regular basis? Because we've spoke about like Logan the other day, and I was saying that like Logan is someone that is very athletic and he has got loads of plaudits, but he's only had 3 matches, and one of those was a tag match. Now, has he been great in those 3 performances? Yes. But being a wrestler means that you do it on a regular basis. Maybe not every night, maybe not every week, but you do it certainly more than 3 times a year. And same could be said with Kenny. Kenny had a match at Wrestle Kingdom that was a singles match. Is it a case, though, that everything went into that to make that the best it could be? And now, like, the tank's a little bit empty and, he's a bit sore. And so that's why he's still doing, like, the trios thing. I don't know. I feel like a solo singles Kenny Omega is going to be better for AEW, though, than what we're doing with him at the moment. I also think having the Bucks go back into the tag division would be better. I actually think the trios is a bit of a problem, to be honest. I think the trios is a bit of a problem. I think that what you're doing is you're putting a lot of eggs into one basket, and you're putting a lot of good superstars into one match for belts that haven't been established yet. Like the trios belts, in my mind, aren't really worth that much. They're not even the same level, in my mind, as the tag belts, because the tag belts are more established. They've been involved in like better matches. They've been around longer. Tag belts mean something because we've seen them throughout wrestling history. Whereas trios belts, it's something that haven't seen or like been around much and doesn't mean as much. It hasn't been around as long. And so we're putting Kenny in there. We're putting Pac in there. We're putting the Lucha Bros in there. We're putting the Young Bucks in there. We're putting Alistair Black in there. We're putting a lot of big names that we could be doing other things with into this trios kind of division. And I think it's taken a lot, So I think I would have House of Black win. I think House of Black needs to get something to get them going. They need something to celebrate. They need some sort of achievement, right? They need some if we're going to keep them together. And honestly, I don't know that I would, to be honest, because I would make the argument that I don't think it's. I think you've seen glimpses of potential, but I don't think that potential has ever been achieved. I think lots of people could look at the House of Black and go, "Oh, the entrance is cool." Brody King, Malachi Black, Buddy Matthews. That three great wrestlers. Julia is there. So I sort of feel like you've got an interesting look, definitely interesting entrance. Some of the vignettes have been really good, and some of the matches have been good, but it's never had like momentum. It's never had sustained momentum. As much as they're winning, they're more likely to lose. And so I think if you put the belts on them and give them a damn good run, that could really help House of Black. And I don't think the Elite need to be together anymore. I actually think it's detrimental. I think that unless Kenny just can't do it on his own, hence why we just spoke about what we just spoke. If Kenny is struggling and he needs to be in a team, then that makes sense. But otherwise, get Kenny out of that. Let's get going with a singles run for Kenny, because Kenny solo is money. I mean, and what you're getting then is, rather than putting like Kenny and the Young Bucks into one segment, you can have a Kenny segment and you can have a Young Bucks segment, and you can like tell a few stories and do a few things. So that's just my feeling on it. I think that we're putting a lot of eggs into one basket. I think we're putting a lot of star power into a division that just doesn't mean much. And I understand, like, the way you get it to mean something is to invest in it. But when the ratings are down in the 800,000s and the shows just feel a bit flat, like, you've got to do something and you've got to shake something up. Like, trying to establish MJF as a world champion, trying to establish Jamie Hayter as a women's world champion, trying to establish trios championships. It feels like there's a lot of projects that we're committed to that are going to bear fruit in the future when they're not bearing fruit right now. We need something for now. We need something that's going to bring in ratings, bring in eyeballs now, because as I said, my feelings are last week's good rating was down to Tony's announcement. Hence why you saw such a big backlash against that announcement. I actually wasn't that down on it. I wasn't that down on it because, as I said, until I see it, I don't know what the show is going to be like. The show could be fantastic in the sense of, here's why the game is delayed and what's been delaying the game. Here's all this info. Here's a bit of info about CM Punk and what's gone on there. Here's the Elite and Kenny coming back from their suspension. Here's Adam Cole and what he's been through with his injury. And honestly, I think that's going to open some eyes, because from what we've been told, it was pretty horrific. So actually seeing it, I think, is going to be quite shocking. I think I can already see the clips of that. Like, I can't believe Adam Cole went through this. And actually, from a character development point of view, that's probably going to help him a lot to see what he's been through and actually understand it on a deeper level. That's probably going to help his, his career and everything. So I'm actually not massively down on this show. It's just like, I think when you hear of it, you go, oh, is it going to be fake drama? Is it going to be total divas? As long as it's the real stuff, like the stuff that we all talk about, I actually think the show could be all right. But how many people are going to tune into it? How many people are even going to stick around to watch it? You've got to make it good, captivating. Got to be worth watching. It's got to be unmissable. It's got to be the stuff people want to see. So, and I don't know if it's going to be that until I see it. But I think the reason you saw such backlash against it was because people were not into the announcement. And I think that it wasn't seen as this big, huge announcement. And I think that that's why a lot of people tuned in. So I think I don't think that it holds. I'll be surprised if it gets 1 million this week. It could get 900 and some thousand. A little dip from the last week in the announcement. I think we're more than likely to go. Are we going to go up? Probably not. Are we going to hold? Probably not. Are we going to go down? Yeah. Will we go down to 800,000? No. It is the go home for a big show. Might be a little bit of a buzz around the fact that it's Revolution this weekend. So maybe that brings some eyes in. So yeah, I'm going to say that this will be like a 900,000 is my guess. 950. That would be my guess on the ratings. But yeah, I think if this bombs, if this show's not that great and Revolution's not great, I think they've got a problem. Then I think they've got a problem. But the tooth getting knocked out loose wasn't true, said Pete. The dog had already lost his tooth. Well, if that is true, that makes things easier. That does make things easier. If the dog had his tooth knocked out in that brawl, then I think CM Punk coming back is going to be a very, very difficult thing to do because he loves that dog, obviously. And that dog getting harmed in any way, that's going to be a tough thing to overcome. If it's not true, and the dog had already had his teeth removed before that had happened, then okay, that's a barrier we don't need to worry about as much. So, yeah, that could be an important kind of fact as to which one that was. It wasn't surprising Cole got injured, said Daniel. He allowed himself to be tossed off a truck in a lights out match. No title or title implications. It was foolish. David said WWE wasn't hitting it out of the park before the Bloodline storyline and still isn't hitting it out now. Before the Bloodline storyline. I mean, I feel like we're going back a long way before that, though. I mean, I will completely agree with you. You see, Roman comes back during the pandemic, during the lockdown, because the show he wins the title on, if I'm right, is a Thunderdome show. I've got a feeling, just trying to remember, I've got a feeling that was in the Thunderdome. So it's not long after that we start him and Jay. So I would actually say that before Bloodline, we're probably going back to lockdown and we're probably going back to pandemic. And I would completely agree that was not a good time. But I would make the argument that wasn't a good time for anyone. I mean, I think AEW was probably in a better place then. I think AEW was putting out some really good stuff. But I think that's because they had only started at the end of 2019. So really 2020 is their first full year. 2021 is like second year. And they can like grow on what they've done the year before. They were in a very different position to WWE. And yeah, I think that it was obviously not an ideal. Any wrestling show that doesn't have fans is going to be a poorer show for it. I mean, there's not many things that wrestling fans will agree on. I feel pretty confident that most wrestling fans would agree on that. That any wrestling show is going to be poorer for not having live fans there, not having that atmosphere. This is why when there's a rubbish crowd, like we're always like, God, this crowd's awful. Like they're really sucking the joy out of this. Like, you know, it matters. If you've got a hot crowd, if you've got a cold crowd, it matters. So having no crowds, it matters. And clearly it mattered because they didn't just stay in the performance center where there was no people. They ended up getting a Thunderdome and pumping in fake crowd noises because even they acknowledged it matters. So I think that Thunderdome was not a good time for wrestling. And I would make the argument, you know, it could have been better for AEW as well if they'd had the fans there. So I think they probably dealt with it better because of the fact that 2020 was their first full year, 2021 their second. They could grow onto it, and like, you know, improve and whatever. And you've got that momentum with being a new promotion as well. Like everything's exciting. Everything you're doing for the first time. You know, our first pay-per-view, our first Rampage, um, like our first women's champion, our first tag champs, our first ladder match, our first cage match. Like there's so many little firsts and so many little like new ideas. And I would imagine it was quite a vibrant, quite an exciting time. With people just like, oh, how about we try this? How about we do this? The honeymoon period, which will have then settled down. So we're out of that now. We're definitely out of that. We're out of that now. I would say that the Bloodline story followed very quickly after we came out of lockdowns and everything. So as I said, I think Roman wins the title during a Thunderdome show. And then we go from there. So really, I think like judging WWE and judging wrestling as a whole, really, you would have to be going back to like 2019, 2018. And you'd have to be going back pre-pandemic because the pandemic was such a weird time. Such a weird time. But yeah, it's been a rocky road. It's been a rocky road. It's good that we're out of that now. But as we said, now what we're seeing is we're seeing WWE, mainly thanks to Vince stepping away from creative, you have to say. Yeah, WWE now really starting to have some momentum. You know, they've got obviously Cody going after the title, which has got people's interest. Roman still killing it at the top of the cards. Sammy still popular and obviously heading towards this tag match. And Gunther doing really well. Seth, they brought in Logan, which maybe to some wrestling purists might not be the most exciting thing in the world to the hardcore fans, but it's undoubtedly bringing eyes. I think from a social media point of view, it plays very well. I don't think from a ratings view it does much, but from a like how many times this clip got viewed on TikTok, like that's incredible. Those numbers are incredible. Logan doing his jump on top of Roman, who was on that commentary table, and you got to like do the jump with him because he had his phone. Like that clip was, I don't know how many tens of millions of views on social media. So, you know, this is what Logan brings you. He brings you that social media exposure. The WWE has got all of that and all of that momentum. Then, like at the moment, AEW is just really struggling for that momentum. Really struggling for. I'm surprised they haven't brought in like a YouTuber themselves. Actually, reached out to Mr. Beast or something like this, and like tried to do something there. Because I must admit, like as I said, the ratings don't seem to change when Logan's on. It's not like when Logan's on SmackDown. SmackDown goes from 2.3 to 2.7 or anything like this. He doesn't seem to bring the fans over to watching the weekly shows. But social media wise, he kills it, man. Kills it. Video clips of him on YouTube and TikToks and Instagram reels and pictures of him and likes and just general engagement. That's what Logan brings. So can't deny that stuff's important. And they've definitely got some momentum. It's WrestleMania season, isn't it? WrestleMania season. This is when wrestling should be bubbling. So let's see what AEW can do to really get things bubbling. Every day we're bubbling. Say Omega leaves for WWE, says Brenton. Hello, Brenton. Yeah, okay. Do you think the Bucks would follow him? It would be more likely. I think that leads to Cody coming back to AEW. As a result, if that happens, I think he just wants to win the world title and go on. I don't think Cody goes back. Reason being, because I think WWE is the mountaintop in regards to your brand and exposure, and WWE is just the pinnacle. WrestleMania is the pinnacle. Now, I understand that WWE is sports entertainment, AEW is wrestling. And I think if you're someone like Bryan Danielson that really wants to be a wrestler, then like for him, he's not bothered about his brand. He doesn't care, does he? He's never cared. He's had the big beards, and that was part of his story. Actually, they were trying to put him in a suit, and they were trying to make him a bit more respectable. And do you remember he was in a suit, sat in a chair, and they were going to shave his beard off, and the crowd were chanting no, as Vince wanted to get rid of his beard and make him a bit more corporate. Like that is actually Daniel, though, isn't it? Daniel is very much like, this is me. Take me or leave me. I'm a pro wrestler. Blah 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 blah. I don't know quite where Cody fits on that scale. I think Cody's very interesting because Cody, I think, wants to be respected, wants to be seen as a wrestler. And I think the sports entertainment thing is something that can go against that at times. But this is Triple H that's doing the creative now. And WWE is a big boost to the brand. It's a big boost to the brand. So you've got a lot of reasons as to why he would be staying around. There's a lot of reasons why I can see him wanting to get as much money as possible. And I think WWE would be competitive with Tony in regards to how much money he's getting. I think staying with WWE is going to be a big boost to his brand. His Twitter followers, his Instagram followers, all of that. Who knows what opportunities gets presented to him being in WWE as well. There's, for example, he's gone back. He's been able to work on that program about his dad. That was actually a big reason why he went back, was because WWE did a series, and they did a series on Dusty, and he is executive vice president of that. He's overseen that. And so that meant a lot to him. I think Dave Meltzer actually said this was a big reason why he went back as well, was because he wanted to make sure that the Dusty Rhodes and Rhodes family name and the legacy was in the right hands. So again, being around WWE, think about the figures that are coming out for Dusty. Think about the documentaries that can be made. Think about all that legacy and history that WWE have. Feel like he can tell and protect his family quite well there. If he goes back to AEW, I mean, anything can happen. Any old rubbish can get put out about Dusty. They've got the rights to do it. They've got all the rights to the footage. Whereas now that he's getting a good boost to his brand. He's being booked by Triple H, so he's having proper wrestling matches. His matches with Seth were fantastic. So I think that is satisfying his wrestling needs. He's getting paid as well as he would be in AEW. He's getting control over Dusty Rhodes documentaries and everything. I don't know. I just don't know why he would want to go back. I can't see what the appeal of going back would be. I understand that AEW, you'd be an executive there. But who knows as to what the future could hold for him in regards to WWE? I mean, it's so unknown at the moment. I think, honestly, the truth probably is he's not thinking long term. The truth probably is that he is focused on whatever this contract is he's got and getting to the world title and finishing the story, and then he'll look at it afterwards. But right now, just as an outsider looking in, I'm just thinking, what would make him want to leave all of that stuff, go back to AEW? Don't know that I can really see a reason, because if it's having wrestling matches, I could understand that. If it was Vince that was booking and he was being put in stupid segments like when he was Stardust, right? But look at what he's been doing with Seth. I mean, that's been brilliant. He's face-to-face with Gunther at the end of the Rumble. That was brilliant. Now he's going into the main event of WrestleMania 39 to take on Roman Reigns. I mean, there's just very little to complain about if you're Cody. So I don't know. It's an interesting one. Could Kenny come over? Kenny could come over. Kenny made an interesting comment, which I never saw, but I've been told about, that apparently, when he came back, he said it felt different. So when he left compared to when he came back, it felt different. And so, read into that whatever you will. Whether and apparently it still feels different for him. So as I said, read into that what you will. Does that mean he's unhappy? Or does it mean that like he can tell that there's work to be done and the atmosphere needs to improve? Or I don't know. I don't know where his mindset's at. I think he must be looking at what Cody's doing right now, and there must be a bit of jealousy there. There must be a bit of jealousy because what were the barriers to go into WWE? I mean, the barriers were that you didn't feel comfortable that you would be used very well. Cody has been used very well. I mean, I don't know that you could have used Cody better. I mean, he's had 3 great matches against Seth. He picked up an injury. Nothing you can do about that. He was out of action. They then did some of the best video packages I've ever seen for his return. He comes back at the Rumble, wins the Rumble. Now he's main event in WrestleMania. I mean, he's in segments with Sammy. He's in segments with Paul Heyman. Those are getting praise. Great little promo back and forths. And, like, everything's great. Everything's seemingly great. So I could understand Kenny looking over there going, oh, I want a main event. I want a main event WrestleMania. I want a main event a show that's going to be having 80-odd thousand people in attendance. You're not going to get that in AEW, are you? I mean, the most they've done is 20,000. It's just a different level. A different level. It's a level that AEW, I'm sure, if they keep building, can get to. But I can understand there being a bit of jealousy right now where you're looking at Cody going, be me. Certainly if you're Kenny Omega. You'd be looking at it going, oh, I could main event WrestleMania. It could be me against Roman this year. In regards to the Bucks, maybe a little different because the Bucks tag team wrestling is just never been prioritized in WWE. Now, if they sat down with Triple H and Triple H was like, look, I am desperately trying to build a credible tag division. I've got Drew and Sheamus. I've repackaged and done vignettes and stuff with the Viking Raiders. So I'm trying to do stuff there. The Usos are one of the most credible teams in all of wrestling. Street Profits, Montez is ready to go off on his own, but I'm not doing it because I need a good tag division. So I'm trying to keep the Street Profits together, and I'm going to keep them together for a little bit longer so that I can have that team. So I've got them as well. Like, I want to bring you in, and I want you to be the secret ingredient. I want you guys to be what's missing. I've got Creed Brothers down in NXT. I got Indashia down in NXT. I got Pretty Deadly down in NXT. He's got a few teams down in NXT. You can always pull the trigger on. So, he could have an interesting conversation with the Bucks. Whether they would buy it, I don't know, because if you're a tag team, I think you'd look at WWE and you'd be nervous to go there. I mean, look at FTR. FTR, I think, genuinely have been contacted by WWE, and I think genuinely there is an offer on the table. But they've been very honest in saying that they felt interested when it was Hunter and Vince wasn't around. But now Vince is back, changes things. Not as comfortable, and you can understand it. You can look at the rubbish they got put through. Look at the rubbish that they had to do, and the stupid stories and things they were engaged in. We've all seen that ring gear that they wanted to dress them in before they left. We've all seen that. So, I can totally understand them being nervous about going back. I think it's a bit different for them compared to Kenny. Because I think Kenny could have a bit more confidence that he would be used well. So I actually don't know. It's an interesting question. I genuinely don't know what the Bucks would do. I think it would really come down to what was said in those conversations. Okay, here we go. So looks like we're going to be starting with Orange Cassidy. Will Ospreay's contract is up at the end of the year. If I was WWE and AEW, I would do anything and everything to sign that man. He is without doubt the best wrestler in the world. I'm not sure that he'll go to WWE, to be honest. He's been quite vocal about not being interested in going to WWE. Again, you don't know if Triple H is booking, if that changes anything. But he is seemingly just not interested. AEW, though, might be able to do something there. Might be able to do something there. But that's an interesting one. I don't know what you do with Ospreay. That's an interesting one. Switchblade is an interesting one as well because, you know, do you go to the company that basically lets you do what you want, right? For good or worse, do you go to AEW and have that freedom? Or do you go to WWE where you won't have that freedom? You might end up doing some stuff you don't want to do, but it's a much bigger platform. It's the boost to your brand, the boost to your social media, the money you can make, the merch you can sell. It's just all more. It's more. I know it's tricky. I think, and I think Triple H taking over creative made it even more tricky because, with Vince, there was a very good reason to not go. Very good reason. Because just really didn't know how you'd be treated. But with Triple H, Big Bill making his way down. Bill is big, said Lone Star Friends. Alfie said Cassidy should get a pretty solid dub tonight, fingers crossed. Keewan said AEW wanted Bray. LT said AEW is bloated. There's too many wrestlers, in my opinion. Right, here we go. We've got the AEW All-Atlantic Championship being displayed. We got Orange Cassidy in the one corner. We got Big Bill over on the other side. The bell has sounded. And we are underway with our first match, Revolution, this Sunday, live on pay-per-view. We've got the crowd chanting away. Looks like it's a good crowd tonight. So Orange Cassidy just back in the corner. Big Bill standing his ground in the center. Give this sign an up. Here we go. We've got Orange Cassidy stepping into the middle. Big Bill tries to step to Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy goes out the ring. So Orange Cassidy rolling out of the ring as Big Bill steps to him. Referee starts counting. Orange Cassidy calling Big Bill onto him, telling him to come out of the ring. Orange Cassidy rolls into the ring. So he calls Big Bill out. Big Bill goes out. Orange Cassidy goes in. Now he's calling him in the ring. Now he goes out the ring. Aaron said, as a wheelchair user, you make me feel parts. Aaron, shout out to you, my friend. Shout out to you. Hope you enjoy the show. Go home show for Revolution. In the ring goes Cassidy. This time Big Bill doesn't go out the ring, but Orange Cassidy rolls straight out the other side. Tonight we're going to be hearing from MJF and Bryan Danielson. So we've got that coming up tonight. Big Time Back said, I had a feeling they would start with Orange Cassidy. Yeah, it's a good way to start, actually, because we started with Orange Cassidy. Was it last week? I actually don't mind them putting him in this spot for a while, and he keeps defending the title in the opening segment. I actually don't mind that. In the corner, big shot coming in by Big Bill. Orange Cassidy over the other side, flips over the top, goes through the ropes, rolls through, against the ropes, duck underneath, against the ropes, round the houses. Trying to go into a DDT. No, caught. Big Bill plants him down. Plants him down. So, yeah, Aaron, appreciate it, buds. Appreciate it. Right, we've got Big Bill in control at the moment. Charging over. Big splash by Big Bill. We got QR codes. I don't know what that's for. I'm guessing it takes you to Bleacher Report, maybe, so that you can get ready for Revolution. I probably should scan it. I don't even know where my phone is. Oh, it's gone. I wasn't ready for a QR code. Right, we've got Stokely Hathaway on the outsides. Days with wrestling, it's very hard to grow an audience. What we've seen with SmackDown is casuals are willing to tune in and stay for big stories. People aren't committed to watching full time. Yeah, I think it's very simple, isn't it? Like if you have a good show, people will tune in for it. It's as simple as that. People want good things. It's just that they have more choice now than ever. So if you give them a good show, they'll be there for it. They'll be there for it. Might take you a while to obviously get their attention, but eventually people will be there for it because people want good content. They want interesting things. They want things that's going to grab their attention. It's just that in this day and age, there's so many different options. You could go to YouTube and there's about like 1 billion streaming services. You know, back in the day, you used to have to just watch what was on. You had to pick whatever was the best thing, what appealed the most out of the, 4 or 5 channels there was here in the UK. So yeah, it's you give people a good storyline, they'll tune in. Once that storyline ends or goes in a direction they're not as bothered by, then it'll dip down. Star power plays a part, of course, for grabbing people's attention. You tell them John Cena's going to be on a show, and instantly you're going to have people's attention. That is a benefit that WWE have. They have that ability to get a John Cena or get a legend, get a Kurt Angle, and that will spike the rating. And AEW don't really have that. There we see Orange Cassidy getting chokeslammed through a table. That's the advantage of being around for 50, 60 years, isn't it? Is that you've got all this history. You could go to Canada and you could advertise Bret Hart. That's going to get people's attention. I suppose AEW can look to lean into that, and they have in the past. We've seen Bret Hart actually unveil the championship. Bret Hart was the person that was when the AEW World Championship was first unveiled. He was a part of that. So, and obviously Sting and Arn Anderson and whatever. So we've seen them lean into that history. But people like Cena, they're not going to be able to get. People like The Rock, they're not going to be able to get. They're all locked down onto contracts. Bret might be locked down to a contract now, actually, thinking about it. So they might not be able to get Bret anymore, hence why you might have. That's probably why you've not seen him. Big Bill going outside, grabbing a hold of Orange Cassidy, chucking him into the ring. So he gets planted through this table on the outsides. And Big Bill applauding, mocking the crowds. Standing over Orange Cassidy. Scott Cassidy chucks him out the ring. Stokely goes over, starts kicking away. Referee is distracted. It's going to be referee's discretion. Bret is locked down, said Vegeta. Shout out to you. Appreciate it. Daniel said, great storyline, builds audience and word of mouth even more. AEW style focuses on wrestling. It's great for hardcore fans. But with no storyline, you do miss weeks and not miss anything. Yeah, I feel like they know that they need both. Like they need good wrestling because that's what they are. They are the wrestling company. Is Danhausen coming down? But I think they know they need good stories as well. I just think the stories they've tried to tell these past few months have just fallen a bit flat. Here's Danhausen. He's come down. He's warning Stokely. Big Bill jumps out the ring. Danhausen is confronted by Big Bill. The big man is coming. He shouts over to Orange Cassidy as Big Bill goes over to him. Okay, Bill in the ring. I feel like there's been a lot of in the ring, out the ring, in the ring, out the ring. Picking up Cassidy. He's got Cassidy up in the air. And he's holding him up there so that all the blood is rushing to his head. Delayed standing vertical suplex. And Orange Cassidy grabbing a hold of his arm, his ribs. He's really selling the ribs at the moment. Apparently, we were in picture when Danhausen came down. Orange Cassidy swinging away, trying to hit at Big Bill, but there's no pop behind those strikes. Danhausen on the outside is mimicking him against the ropes. Ooh, went for the Orange Crush. Full Nelson applied by Big Bill. And he's shaking Orange Cassidy around. Yeah, I mean, this Full Nelson looks pretty good. And look, and he's ragdolling him around. Got an interesting hold. I think that he's gone round the head, and I think he's got that kind of a grip. He's let it go against the ropes. Cassidy goes down. He slumps down. Really interesting. That's really interesting, you know. Normally, when you do a Full Nelson, when I was a kid, I used to do them all the time. Anyone that got in my way got Full Nelsoned. Teachers and everything, but go under the arms, round the back of the head. That's the clasp I would always use. That's what I always saw people doing. That's not the grip that we just saw from Big Bill. Did that? Interesting. Danhausen on the outsides. Looked like he was going for curse, but he's been picked up, and Stokely's got a better idea. Stokely uses his cast to knock Danhausen down. According to Twitter, tonight's show has sold 3,874 tickets out of a possible 4,429. An S-grip, says Michael. S-grip? I didn't know it was called that. Thank you. S-grip. Great Twitter account, which is Catch Wrestling. And they love all stuff like that. Good account, actually. Really good. They just show you loads of different holds from like all throughout wrestling. Modern stuff as well. Stuff from Japan and everything. Just loads of different moves. And they talk about like the slight variations. They show you like weird takedowns and all this kind of stuff. It's really interesting. Here's Orange Cassidy then getting a bit of momentum. Charges over at Big Bill. Big Bill picking up Orange Cassidy. It's Stundog Millionaire round the houses. And a DDT there by Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy starting to get some joy against Big Bill. Looking for the Orange Punch. Orange Punch connects. Big Bill back in the corner. Orange Cassidy in the other corner. Another Orange Punch. Big Bill stumbling. He's still on his feet, though. Orange Cassidy going to the outsides. Climbing up. Looks like he's going for a monstrous Orange Punch. Bang! Off the top. Big Bill goes down. Orange Cassidy. 1, 2, 3. Cassidy wins. Cassidy retains. With a big Orange Punch off the top. Daniel said, I can't buy Orange Cassidy getting a tornado DDT on a dude this big. It's wrong. Big Bill is officially on the buried list. Legend Killer said Orange Cassidy wins. WWE and AEW fans said Orange Cassidy wins. Let's go. Jojo said he loses every. Bully is the best Rockstar game. Put to Orange Superman. He weren't. That was good, said Kieran. The real Superman punch, not like Roman says RYN. John Moxley is going to say a few words. Here he is. John screaming backstage. This was taken last week. John. I'm all about living my life to the full. I'm a sick man. This isn't something to be proud of. I live for this. I'm not the kind of guy you want to go down a dark alley with. I've got what Moxley looks like without blood, said Zoom Station. He got beat clean and you can't teach that, said Tim. Teach that. This is a passionate Moxley promo, showing the blood dripping all over the steps. Gonna need a wet floor sign. Hangman, you're a great wrestler. But you're not the same animal as me. Hangman, you're a great wrestler, even a great man, but you are not the same animal as me. Blood dripping all over the steps. That is a health and safety night. I tell you what, there's some real anger issues there. There are some real anger issues. You look at Renee, and she just looks like such a lovely lady that just wants to make cupcakes on a Sunday. And then you look at John Moxley, and he just looks like he wants to bring nuclear war to any and everyone. Anyone he encounters, he just wants blood, violence, pain, suffering. And then you look over at Renee, and she just wants to bake. That's the vibe I get. They are such an odd couple. They are such an odd couple. The lights have gone out as the Elite were making their way. They come back on, and House of Black are behind. Now they go back out again. Guessing there's an attack. Right, well, there we go. The Elite are down. Why did the lights go up for so long? Lights are out for ages. It's out again. Is that it? Is that it? We had the Elite on stage. Lights went out. Came back on. You could see House of Black standing behind. Lights went out. Out. Still out. Still out. Still out. Came back on. And they were standing behind. And they'd took the belts off them. And then it was like, coming up next, we've got this Battle Royal. that was a thing. Right, here's Samoa Joe. Joe. Samoa Joe going over onto the commentary table. Joe making his way out. I'm excited for MJF versus Bryan and Elite versus House of Black. What was that? What was that meant to be? I don't know what that Elite thing was meant to be. I can't. Were they announced for tonight? Was we meant to get something from them? No. There was nothing announced from the Elite tonight. This is going to be the face of the Revolution ladder match then. So all these people, it'd be nice to see Eddie Kingston. Haven't seen Eddie Kingston in a while. So Eddie Kingston should be coming out. Same with the likes of Powerhouse Hobbs. Few people there I'm looking forward to seeing. We have gone to commercial break. Obviously, the Elite are going to take on House of Black. I'm guessing that was just a way of promoting that match for this weekend. Rest with Andy said Days Moxley needs to get the Just Bleed chest paint as a tattoo. I wonder, like, someone must have said to him, don't you think that you bleeding all the time takes it away from, like, in those moments where, like, you probably do need to bleed? Like, surely someone's had that conversation. Because I think it's a very valid, not even argument, just conversation. It's a conversation. I'd be very interested to know what his response to that would be. Like, with you bleeding in pretty much every match that you have, and I'm not even exaggerating. But like pretty much every match you have, you end up bleeding. Don't you think that that's going to take away from like the big dramatic pay-per-view matches where a bit of color, a bit of blood would definitely just enhance things? I'd be interested to know like what he'd say. He might say something like, I don't think that way. Every match I treat as my biggest match. Like maybe that would be his response. Is anyone excited for this ladder match? I'm excited to see a few people that are in it. A few people here that I haven't seen in a hot minute. So I'm excited to see those. Eddie Kingston. Honestly, it feels like it's been a while since we saw Eddie Kingston. I don't know where Eddie has been. I know he did some stuff with New Japan because he had that match with Switchblades. So I know he did some stuff over there. But yeah, I don't feel like I've seen him on Dynamite for a while. And listen, Eddie can talk. Eddie is someone that's a great hand. Would have been useful to have had him around, to be honest. So, yeah, it's him, Powerhouse Hobbs. Could be all right. Right, we've got AR Fox in there. Is Sammy Guevara making his way down. So this is the face of the Revolution ladder match. Okay, so belt has sounded. Who do you want to win this? Put in the chat, who do you want to win this? Where's Eddie Kingston? There he is. Eddie Kingston on the outside. I think I'd like Eddie Kingston to win. Kingston against Samoa Joe. That could be fun. Paul Carpenter, shout out to you, my friends. That's Action Andretti. Action Andretti. Eddie Kingston using a ladder. Paul Carpenter said, I'm excited for Malachi to beat the hell out of the Elites. That's Sunday. Around the houses. AR Fox. Eddie Kingston and Ortiz are fighting up the ramp. We've got AR Fox down in the corner. We've got Sammy Guevara using a ladder in the ring. We've got action everywhere as Sammy sets up a ladder in the corner. Powerhouse Hobbs on the outsides. Action Andretti trying to get back up to his feet. AR Fox slumps down. Drop kick there by Action Andretti as a smaller ladder has been introduced. I don't know who this guy is, do I? Commander. Is that his name, Commander? When I first saw him, I thought it was Fuego del Sol. Was that his name? I thought it was him. Who the hell's Commander? Into the corner. He collides Powerhouse Hobbs into AR Fox. We've got two ladders in the corner. William said, I just subbed to your channel, Days, person I've never met. William, I really appreciate the support, buds. Really appreciate the support. Don't forget, we do have a member stream next Thursday. We do them every 2 weeks. So next Thursday, we've got a member stream. And so feel free to send in your thoughts, your videos. They'll get played on that member stream. Only a minute long. But just put members stream in the title. That way I can easily find them when you email them over. WrestlingDays@gmail.com. And we'll play that on the member stream. I've also got an amazing idea for the members, which I'm really excited about. And I will talk about that next Thursday as well. Clotheslines by Takeshita and Powerhouse Hobbs. So they're in the ring right now. Hobbs goes into the ladder. So yeah, William, appreciate it. Paul, shout out to you as well. Got Takeshita down. Don Callis is watching backstage as Powerhouse is down. In comes Sammy. Sammy coming in, going after Takeshita. Knee strike there by Sammy. Sammy in the ring. Takeshita down on the outside. Sammy going against the ropes. He gets caught by Action Andretti, who hits a super kick. Andretti against the ropes. Over the top. Comes down onto Sammy, who was on the outside, goes over the top rope. Action Andretti and Sammy. Right now, we got AR Fox on the top. An explosion senton. It's pretty sick. Jumped up onto the top rope, kind of flipped backwards into like a senton. Commander. I don't know who this Commander is. On the rope. He runs across the rope and jumps over the top to the outsides. Pretty nice move, isn't it? Running along the rope. And then jumping off and landing to the outside. That was pretty cool. Lands on a load of people. They're just showing a replay here. And you could see that going wrong easily, couldn't you? That was awesome, said Mitchell. Whoever the guy in the mask is, he's athletic, said Krista. Into the barricades. Amanda is such a weird name for a luchador. Amanda? Shouldn't he be like El Commando? El Commande? Shouldn't he be El Commande? Commander's just a weird name. You hang around with like Sergeant, Lieutenant, Commander. Big boot there by Sammy. Sammy grabbing a hold of ladder. We got ladders being set up on the outside. Ladders in the ring. Into the ladder goes Action Andretti. Goes down. Sammy is the only one in the ring right now. Sammy is putting a ladder in between the ropes and the ladder in the ring. So he's clearly setting up for some sort of spot. He's started to climb. Commando's come in. AEW will fail, said WWE Gareth. I hate the running of the ropes. It's fake, said Maggie. WWE is selling, said Kieran. Ron said, Lucha Commander, not bads. Awesome. Third question, as a casual viewer, do I know that he's from AAA? No. I don't know he's from AAA. No, I've never heard of him. I've never seen him. It would have been nice to have had, like, some sort of introduction to him. Takeshita goes over the top rope to the outside. Got coming in there from El Comande, who gets into the ring. Brenton said, I think Takeshita wins, but wouldn't be mad if Hobbs wins. Eddie would be fine too. Shot coming in there by Powerhouse Hobbs. Powerhouse has got Commander, picks him up. AR Fox hits Powerhouse with a chair. Commander's in the ring. Hobbs picks up AR Fox. There's a ladder set up on the outside that Fox is about to go through. Oh my God, it didn't break? I thought that was going to be like one of those wooden ladders that was going to buckle. It didn't buckle. It didn't break at all. There was just this horrible thud sound as his body collided with the ladder. Oh, look, he's holding onto his arm. He might have legit got hurt there, AR Fox. Action Andretti runs up a ladder, climbs across another ladder, goes over to Sammy, throws in some forearms, shot to the midsection. These two fighting away. Action Andretti going to look for a suplex from the top of the ladder onto the ladder that's balancing behind. Oh my God. He went for a Falcon Arrow and it's not gone well and he's in a lot of pain. He got all caught up in the ladder. Oh man, that didn't go to plan at all. Here's Commander. Oh God, man, what's up with this ladder not breaking? It's like a shooting star that he lands onto AR Fox and the ladder again, it's not breaking. Jesus. This is like a career-ending match for so many competitors. Go on, El Comande. Go on, mate. There's no one around. Oh, someone's arrived. It's Takeshita. Well, I don't know where Eddie Kingston went. I haven't seen Eddie Kingston. We've just been watching wrestlers kill themselves. Ugh. Blue Thunderbomb from the top of a ladder. Jeez Louise. The ladders have gone on strike. Takeshita's going to try and climb up. Is there anyone that's going to stop him? No one else in the ring. He's being super slow about it, though. Here's Action Andretti again. Okay, it looks like Andretti has not torn anything after the Falcon Arrow didn't go to plan. Garcia is in. Garcia tips the ladder over. Garcia grabbing Action Andretti. Plants him down with a Uranagi. Goes to the outside. We got Sammy setting up another ladder. That's a monstrous ladder. Yeah, we've got lots of things being put together here. We've got two chairs. We got a ladder being put onto some chairs. You got a big giant ladder. Still want to see if he can break his back on free television. This is what I expect from AEW, said Jessam. Right now, we got Action Andretti lying on a ladder that's being balanced on two chairs. Sammy is climbing up. It's on top of a ladder. It's Loco. It's going right to the top of this massive ladder. I couldn't even tell you how high in the air he is. Comes down, he lands on top of Action Andretti. Right, so now the broken body, the lifeless carcass of Sammy Guevara has got to somehow find a way of climbing this ladder. That Garcia is desperately trying to help him get up this ladder, forcing his broken body to get up there. A little bit away from it. He's got one hand on it. Now the ladder gets tipped over by Takeshita. Takeshita knocks the ladder over. Garcia gets dumped over the other side. Knee strike there by Takeshita. Takeshita picks the ladder up. Is Takeshita going to be the one? He's climbing up. I think we got someone else coming in. I think it's Powerhouse Hobbs. Hobbs collides into the ladder. The ladder buckles. The ladder is buckled and bent out of shape. I don't think you're going to be able to use that ladder. He's asking the ref, hold the ladder. He's climbing up. The ref's holding the ladder for him. Powerhouse Hobbs, there's 3 refs holding this ladder. Is that allowed? Should that be allowed? Hobbs wins thanks to the help of the referees. The impartial referees holding the ladder steady for Powerhouse Hobbs. I don't know if it's allowed or not. It's just quite the visual. It's quite the visual. Surprised one of them didn't go up and grab it for him. The ref's just holding the ladder. 3 of them. Not even 1, but 3. There's a 4th. Aubrey's coming. I'd love to see a backstage sketch where Powerhouse Hobbs is hanging out with the refs. Just like, guys, we did it. We did it, guys. Joe going over to Powerhouse Hobbs. Mitchell said, is this the NFL? The refs helping people win. What happened to Eddie Kingston? Eddie Kingston? I mean, I think I saw him. I'm sure I did see him. I heard rumors he was in this match. Powerhouse Hobbs said he's got time. Wardlow comes out. Joe has gone away. I would love that. I would love, genuinely, I would love Powerhouse Hobbs sketch where he's with the refs. How's the kids, Mike? They doing all right? Brilliant. Aubrey, how's my girl? Guys, I just want to say a big thanks for all your help. You know, we've got people running around with factions. I knew I needed to get some friends, and you did me proud. You did me proud. Here's Renee backstage with Danhausen, best friends, and Orange Cassidy. I never needed you at all. I never needed you. Danhausen and Orange Cassidy are best friends, so we can be in the Battle Royal. Oh, look, and Renee puts her hand in as well. Boom. No one would happen to have a website where a pay-per-view is free, said Simran. Wow. Watch wrestling is probably your best bet, but I don't know if it's live on there, if it just goes up afterwards. Here's Jericho of the Jericho Appreciation Society. Yo, Joe. Hey. Who's he taking on? Did I know he was on this card? I don't remember Jericho being. Oh, yeah. Pretty Peter Avalon. There we go. Right, out of 5, what did you think about the ladder match? Let's get a gauge as to what people thought. Out of 5, what did you think? What did you think of the ladder match? Ladders and a battle royal on the same night. Merry Christmas. No one can take Orange Cassidy serious, right? Says Ava. It's live, but I just don't have $50 at this time, said C-Ran. No, I meant I don't know if it's live on Watch Wrestling. I would give it a 2, said Lone Star Friends. 1 said 1 Minute Wrestler. 4 said Alfie. 2 said Big Boss Man. 3 said Zoom Station. 6 out of 7 said Denis. Jojo said 2.2. Brenton said FTR returning. Well, interesting. That would be a big talking point. I could definitely do with them. Aubrey Edwards presented by Prime Energy. 3 refs out of 5. The heel said 425. Daniel Garcia said 3 rings out of 5. Rare Breeds 01 says 3 out of 5. Virus says 3 out of 5. Shaquem said -1. Ava said garbage. Mitchell said I can't grade it. The ending was so bad. Travis says -5. Gabriel said a solid 2. Ron said 2. Denise said 7 out of 5. CJ said 3 out of 5. Bunker said it was okay. Clearly knew Hobbs was winning. Thomas said, I actually think this has been a really good Dynamite. Justin said 3 out of 5, but the ladders weren't breaking. It's what I'll remember from that match. Miss Clown said, loved it. Solid 1.5. I rate it the best botch ladder match ever, says K-Yeet. Industrial strength ladder. No, man. He got, I feel sorry for it. He got planted onto that ladder hard twice. Got planted onto it once. And then the second time had Commander land on him with quite a bit of momentum. And the ladder was like, nope. Nope, I ain't going nowhere. The action Andretti botch looked quite bad in the sense of dangerous. Right, seemed to lose his foot in, then got his leg all tangled up. Kind of thing where you can see like ACLs and things getting torn, but thankfully he seemed to avoid anything serious because he was back on his feet quite quick after. Right, here we go then. Jericho against Pretty Peter Avalon. When was the last time we saw Peter? Oh God, I can't. This is like she sells seashells on the seashore. Pretty Peter. When was the last time we saw Pretty Peter? On Dynamite? This was the librarian, wasn't it? It's been around since the very beginning of AEW. He must be Mr. AEW Dark by this point, I would imagine. Yeah, Avalon really coming out and chopping away. He's got Jericho, hurls him into the ring steps. Pretty Peter has got real momentum here. He's really come out with some ferocity. Go on, Peter. Jericho going over to Aubrey. I think Pretty Peter raking the back. Chops coming in. Driving Jericho back against the ropes. Over the other side goes Jericho. Double axe handle by Pretty Peter. Big boot. And down goes Jericho to shoulder up. Countdown to Revolution this Friday. Immediately following Rampage. Chops coming in. I want to see Dean Ambrose against Daniel Bryan, against Rusev, against Cesaro, against Buddy Murphy, against Eric Rowan, against Aleister Black, against Jack Swagger, against Big Cass, against Neville, against Malcolm Bivens on AEW tonight. Rowan's not signed with AEW, is he? I don't think Eric Redbeard is signed with AEW. So you can't. You know that Starks is going to come out and he'll cost Jericho this match, said Justin. I would love to show Pretty Peter to Jamie Hayter, said Godfather's Home. I would imagine they've met, to be honest. He cut his hair. Oh yeah, he's had quite the gimmick change. Jericho wins. Jericho pins Pretty Peter. There we go. Quick little contest. Jericho picking up the dub. And Jericho. Grabbing Floyd. Telling Pretty Peter to get up. I'm guessing this is where Starks will come down. Pretty Peter gets laid out. And he's walloping away on Pretty Peter. I'll tell you what, Ricky Starks, if he is coming out, is a bit late. Pretty Peter's just been jabbed in the face, smashed with the baseball bat, and now Ricky Starks comes down. If I'm Pretty Peter, I'm like, where the hell was you? Starks chases Jericho out of the ring. Gonna beat the hell out of you on Sunday, said Jericho. All right, here's the Jericho Appreciation Society. We got Hager. That Garcia. There's Jericho. So Starks is being mauled there, grabbing a hold of his shirt. I'm offering exclusive life bands from this channel if anyone is interested, says William. Peter went limp. I might not be able to watch the whole Revolution stream because I do have school in the morning, says WWE and AEW fan. Yeah, it'll probably be a long one as well. Those AEW streams or shows tend to go like 4.5 hours, so along those lines. So might be a long one as well. Here's Jericho. He did have his bat, but he just dropped it down to the ground. Ah, Judas effect. Judas effect. Starks goes down. Your hat. I think the crowd are chanting to Hager. F your hat. Peter Avalon doesn't look too bad. Looks a lot more believable as a wrestler compared to the librarian. Beep. Yeah, he had a nice intensity about him. Like, he wanted to add a bit of momentum, add a bit of fire. Right, Jericho with the baseball bat. UFC 285 on Saturday. We're all over that, mate. Stream is already set up. Here's Hangman. Hangman. Texas Death. I can't hear him. He's a bit quiet. This match is all I've got left to lose, says Hangman. You can't take my memory away from me because it's gone. You can't take the feeling away from the tips in my fingers because I can't feel those. Already beat Uno within an inch of his life. He's basically saying he's got nothing left to lose. I'm not the same animal as you. Said he's going to be violent and bloodthirsty. This is Texas Death. You either live or you die. I mean, look, they're building it up to be a massive thing. It's been a big feud. I don't know that the story has been that great, but what I will say is, as we're putting the final touches to this, you know, I definitely want to see it. I do think, though, that Renee should maybe be a little more concerned. You know, you've got Hangman saying basically, you know, there's only two ways out: you live or you die. Her husband's bleeding like so much blood. I don't know. I know that she has to be professional and carry on with her job. I think, like, as we throw from segments like that, though, it would be good to just see her just show a bit of a concern, just a bit of like, just take a moment to just really process what she's just heard. Like, you know, hey, hey. And just even if it's just like for a fleeting moment, I think little details like that would be really cool. Because we sort of go from like Hangman talking about how he's going to basically murder Moxley. Then we go to Moxley's wife, who's in the ring and she's just carrying on with her job. I think like you could like do something there. But she's talking to Christian. Let's see what's going to go down. But yeah, I think they've built. The story might not have been perfect, but I'm interested to see it. I'm guessing there's going to be some blood in it as well, you know. For the past 6 months, I've beaten Jungle Boy down at will. And now here's Jack Perry. Thinks he'll win a singles championship. Christian says, over my dead body. Shut the F up chants from the crowds. Shut the F up. Still not bad by Christian. You had me dead to rights last week, Jungle Boy, but you hesitated. He's a good promo, Christian. You want to take that shiny new toy home and show your mom and your sister? My problem with you. Treat my business like a video game. Jeez, you're in the wrong promotion then. If that's your problem. You treat my business like a video game. Why the flip did you sign with AEW then? I treat my business like an ATM machine, and I am not done milking it dry. I didn't know you had to milk ATM machine. I've never milked an ATM machine. Right, where are we going? Fight. You're just your father's son. Just like your father, you are a no talent hack. Don't have the guts. You haven't got any grit. You haven't got an ounce of what I've got inside. Lights have gone out. Malachi. Lights are still out. Where are we? We're seeing Jungle Boy on the screen. He's digging a grave. Oh, and they're showing him hesitates. Showing a video package. Showing a tear running down his eye. Is he going to be burying the... is this a grave for, like, himself, do you reckon? For, like, his old self? This is a way of saying that... oh, no. It's a grave for Christian. I thought it was going to be deeper and more meaningful. Like, is he burying the old Jungle Boy? And this is a way of saying that was the old me. But no, it's actually a grave for Christian. Right, well, there we go. End of the segment. Backstage with Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker. Buried alive. Night. If you want to cause some shenanigans tonight, Saraya, go ahead, because we're going to be there. So just promoting Toni and Riho, two former women's champions that are going up against each other. Right, here is Matt Hardy doing the deletes, making his way down with Ethan Page, Isaiah Cassidy, and Stokely Hathaway. Hater in leather. Hardy versus Hook. Send Hook. Yep. Hook on his way down. Seen him in ages. Is that a new tattoo? I don't remember him having a little person on his chest. Hook making his way down to the ring, circling around the ring. Can someone please delete Matt, says Maggie. Okay, FTW Championship up for grabs right now. Luke, I gotta say, a lukewarm reaction for Hook here. Fairness, we just haven't been seeing much of Hook, and we haven't seen much in the way of development from Hook. Here we go. Matt Hardy then against Hook. These two locking up in the middle of the ring. Hook, that was a nice takedown by Hook. That was really nice. That was a really nice takedown. I love how he, like, stepped in between the legs of Matt Hardy. Like, really drove him down. Very good in the ring, Hook. Got Hardy back against the rope. Shots coming in here by Hardy. And Matt Hardy going back to the delete. Hook grabbing a hold of the leg as Hardy gets over to the ropes. She can't use Paige. It was her WWE name. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she can't use it. It shows, doesn't it, how valuable it is, though, because that is definitely something that would be useful and helpful if she could. I mean, it shows why they are so insistent on changing people's names, because now you can see the value and how useful it would be for AEW. In the ring goes Hook. We were on the outside. We are at the halfway point a few minutes ago. I don't know when we're next at commercial break. Elbows coming in. Oof. Net breaker there by Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy with a net breaker. We got Hook definitely feeling the effects of that. Glad to see Toni finally put in Hook on Dynamite. Needs some exposure, said Krista. Legend Killer says, come on, Hook. Dragon Den said, why on earth would you book two baby faces to face each other and split the crowds? Theo said, how's the show been so far? Well, I'll tell you what, let's do it.
Halftime scores.
We'll find out.
It's
We'll
the
see what people
halftime
think.
scores.
Hook charges over, gets planted into the top turnbuckle. We are still underway with this match, but as I said, I'm not sure when this match is going to conclude. Or when we're going to go to commercial.
It's the halftime scores. Are you happy or you sad? Halftime scores. Everybody, it's the halftime scores. I should get that recorded. If I got it recorded, I could just press play then. Just sit here like this.
Maggie said, I like Hook's wrestling, but he needs to speak at some point. Matt needs to win, says Alfie. 5.5 said Defcon Eric. And Jack Styles Playground. 1 Minute Wrestler says 7. Had nearly 600 votes, you know. Who should leave as AEW champ? We'll take a look at that in a second. Jojo 575, Donald 5.5, Denis with an 8, Rare Breeds with a 7, Aubrey Edwards presented by Prime with a 6, Travis with a -3, CJ with a 6, Irish Rebel, shout out to you, Heel with a 7.5, WWE and AEW fan with 7.9. I like this show. Dragon Den said 4, Hobbs 1, so that brought it up. Legend Killer said 6.5. Hardy Matt. 6 said Zoom Station. 7.5 said Luke. 7 said Dylan. Is Jeff Boy still locked up? It's sorted now, isn't it? That got sorted the other day, so I think we should be coming close towards his return. The casters come off. Stokely Hathaway's cast is down on the floor, so he seemingly doesn't need it. I don't think he ever needed it. 7, 6.5, 6.4, 6. There we go. Lovely submission hold applied. Sleeper holds. And it's a win for Hook. Stokely Hathaway sits down and starts rocking. We want Bully to sign. Is Matt Hardy smiling? Okay, here's House of Black. They've got these trios belts. These titles, we'll leave them here because they belong to you. But just know you've already lost them. See you at Revolution. Bye. See you there. Thank you. Right, here's Toni Storm. Okay, Soraya making her way out with Toni Storm. Toni Storm versus Riho. I want to stay, but I got to go, said Maggie. Got to go to my uncle's tomorrow. Your uncle called Howdy. And intercept the postman with his new bus pass. Otherwise, it will never be seen again. Maggie, shout out to you. Does Hook care about Stokely? How did that come to happen? No, he doesn't care about Stokely. So he attacked Stokely like a few weeks ago. Stokely made a massive deal of it. Can't claim that he'd broken his arm and all this kind of stuff. And so I think that's how it built to this match of Matt Hardy against Hook. And so Matt Hardy just lost. Stokely was then rocking on the outside of the ring like, oh my God, can't believe my guy can't get this done. This kid is tormenting my life, blah, blah, blah. Can someone tell me what was the first match tonight? It was Orange Cassidy against Big Bill. Big Bill. Big Bill. Bill. But I'd rather see Dr. Britt and hate a feud than be friends, said John. It's something they can do. They can pull that trigger. I'm sure it's a feud that we will get. It's just not a feud that we've had yet. So, yeah, definitely a big feud that they've got up their sleeve that they, as we said, they can pull the trigger on whenever they need to. I think, there's definitely things that they can do. There's definitely some interesting pieces. I mean, honestly, I'm kind of split as to what you do with the House of Black, because I think you can put the belts onto the House of Black. I think you should do something with the House of Black. So I think you either put the titles on them, or honestly, I mean, do we split them up? I just, they have been so inconsistent. It's not their fault, it's the booking. They just don't get anything to get their teeth into. And I looking at Malachi there, I really liked Aleister Black. And there was a lot of excitement when he came in. There was a lot of anticipation that, like, oh, now he's going to get used right. Now we're going to see what this guy can do. I think we have to say it's been very underwhelming. Very underwhelming. I think House of Black have just been very stop-start. So you've got to get behind them. So put the belts on them. Put the belts on them. Or do we go a separate way? You see, Brody King and Buddy Murphy, you can still keep them together as a partnership. I just think Malachi is a solo star. I think there's some. Clearly, there's some there. There was a lot of excitement. There was some there in NXT. There was a lot of excitement for when he came in. I like his promos as well, and we know he can strike. Feel like you could do the Jamie Hayter, Britt Baker feuds. Feel like you could split up House of Black or take Malachi out there. Feel like you could take Kenny Omega out of the Elite group as well. Pac feels like a bit of a sleeping giant as well. I mean, like Pac, when he was first in AEW, there was a real buzz around him. Do you remember he got a win over Kenny? And, like, you know, he was someone that was putting on some great matches. I don't know why we put him in Death Triangle and have just left him there. But he really has been moved to the sides. You do this now. Compared to where he was when he was having singles matches with Kenny Omega. There's a lot of wrestlers on the books. There's a lot of things you can do. There's a lot of options. It's just, you know, choosing the direction you want to go in, basically, telling the stories that you want to tell. But that's why I think there's optimism around, because they've got options. There's things they can do. There's stories they can tell. And it'll be interesting to see what they do after Revolution. Riho bridges up then as we're underway with this match. We're 15 minutes into the second hour. We haven't had a look at the poll yet. We've had over 600 votes, which is pretty cool. 67% of people think, so 2/3 think that MJF is going to retain. So 2/3 think MJF is going to retain. 1/3 of people think that Bryan Danielson is going to leave Revolution as the new AEW World Champion. Saraya on the outside, causing a little bit of trouble as Toni Storm throws a knee to the midsection of Riho. Riho grabbing the back of her head. Against the ropes goes Riho. She flips over. Drop kick. Toni Storm stumbles back against the ropes. Clothesline. Riho takes Toni down, stomp to the midsection. Looking for the pin. 2. Kick out. Did you see my super chat? I don't think so, but let's have a look. Is it the halftime score one? What's your halftime score? I'm at 3.5 out of 5. Probably a bit lower. Probably about a 3 out of 5. Maybe like a 6.25 out of 10. I sort of feel like, again, the show is... It's watchable. It's not making me angry, right? It's not a 2. It's not a 3. It's not a 4. I'm not sitting here like losing my mind like I was a few weeks ago, just struggling to watch it. I think the ladder match had some spots in it, like watching Commander run along the rope, launch himself to the outside was pretty interesting. Seeing like some of the botches, pretty interesting. I can't say though that, you know, I'm not a fan of people jumping over the top, going to the outsides and landing on a load of wrestlers. That spot always looks silly to me. The botches, I mean, you know, he proper got his leg caught. Like, I don't know if that should be entertainment, but I mean, it was. I was entertained because I didn't know quite what had happened and like if he was going to be all right. Again, I don't know. I'm not. It's not something that should have happened, you know? And it could have ended really bad for him, but thankfully it didn't. Eddie Kingston, I was quite excited seeing Eddie, and he just disappeared. So I thought the ladder match was... What I can say about the ladder match, I was entertained. I watched it. I was not bored at any point. But I can totally understand why people would rip into it and say the quality was not that great. I can understand, because there were so many big spots, why people would have watched it and would have been entertained by it. So ladder match is a bit tricky. I think it comes down to personal taste as to like what did you see? Did you see a match that was exhilarating and full of big spots? Or did you see a match that was just spot after spot after spot with some botches mixed in? Like, I can totally see people seeing it both ways. What I can say is that I wasn't bored by it, though. And there was some moments in there that were like, wow. So gotta give that props. First match, as I said, I thought there was a lot of just coming in the ring, going out the ring, coming in the ring, going out the ring. You know, it was okay. It was okay. I think we knew Orange Cassidy was going to win. I didn't expect Big Bill to win, so it was all right. Pretty Peter, I thought, put in a decent performance. He was quite fired up, and the match was quite short, so it didn't like outstay its welcome or anything. I thought the Elite and House of Black's little thing, which was next to nothing, I thought that looked really silly. I wouldn't have done that. And anything else, I can't remember. So, so I sort of feel like it's been a bit of a mixed bag, but, and this is the big caveat, there's nothing that is like annoying, upsetting, frustrating. There's nothing here that's like horrific. So yeah, it's a comfortable watch. It's a comfortable watch. This match is we've got a lot of moving parts. We got Britt Baker that's come down. We got Jamie Hayter that's come down. We got Saraya on the outsides. Riho and Toni both in the ring. Toni is in control. She's got a Paul Nelson applied. Paul Nelson, man. Bobby Lashley has made it credible again, hasn't he? Everyone's doing full Nelsons now. I think we've got Let's Go Riho chants from the crowds. As Toni releases the hold and throws Riho down to the ground. Of course, we still got our Battle Royal to come. Shot coming into the midsection. We've still got the Battle Royal, and we've still got MJF and Danielson face to face. Over goes Toni. Against the ropes goes Toni. Riho goes over the other sides. Looking for like a 619. She gets grabbed. Dumped onto the edge of the ring. Toni goes against the ropes. Goes in between the bottom rope to the outside. We got Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter on the outside. We got Riho climbing to the top. Riho in position. Going to go for a crossbody. Lands onto Toni Storm. Both women are down on the outside of the ring. They need to reboot this women's division, said John. They just need to start over. This is a sloppy women's match, said Scott. Riho climbing up. Riho is perched and double stomp from the top. Coup de grace on Toni. Riho grabs Toni, bridges over, lovely suplex, 2. Kick out by Toni. So 2 count. Revolution save 20% when you use the promo code Revolution23. Riho to the outsides, climbing up, chop coming in there by Toni, headbutt there by Toni. Toni climbing up, grabbing a hold of Riho. Looking for a pile driver. Looks like she's going for a pile driver from the middle rope. Shots coming in there by Toni. Headbutt by Riho. Riho goes over, looking to power bomb Toni. Shot coming in there by Toni. Toni down on her feet. Chucks Riho over by her hair. Drop kick. Riho goes back to the corner. Toni Storm going the other sides. Charges over. Hip attack. 1, 2. Oh, kick out by Riho. Riho survives. Britt Baker watching on. Riho being dragged. DMD. Toni is doing the DMD. Cloverleaf. Lovely. Goes for a shot there on Britt Baker. Roll up by Riho. 1, 2, 3. Riho wins. Riho wins thanks to a distraction by Britt Baker. Now we've got Toni and Britt brawling on the outsides. Who is excited to see the greatest boxer of all time fight on Saturday? Pineda in the first ever boxing tag team match, says Watson. Gonna be wild. That's happening in Telford up the road, you know. Shots coming in. I'm gonna be like 20 minutes away from it. Here's Ruby. Ruby comes down. Ruby knocks Saraya down. And she throws in some shots. The Jamie Hater. We've got a big brawl that's broken out. Absolute carnage. Love Riho, but that wasn't it, said Mitchell. I saw a movie online with Austin Creed and Saraya. It was really good, said Godfather's Ho. I have no doubt that that would have been to your taste, Godfather's Ho. Right, we've got referees coming in, and they are trying to separate these women apart. We got Jamie Hater in there. We got Saraya in there. We got Ruby Soho in there. The stunning return of Keith Lee. Right, here's Keith Lee with Dustin Rhodes. Don't like playing games. We are naturally limitless. Naturally limitless. So Dustin and Keith Lee are going to be in a tag team on Rampage. Right, okay, the Battle Royal is up next then. So the Battle Royal is next, which means Danielson, MJF will be main event with their face-to-face. I mean, I'm guessing so. I don't think there was anything else announced, was there? Let's have a look. Right, so this is what we've got. The Casino Tag Team Battle Royal. Casino Tag Team Battle Royal. Don't let your facial hair go grey. It's a bummer, said TJB. Dark Order still has a tag team. Right, I think we've gone picture in picture. We've got Blackpool Combat Club have come down. They're brawling with Dark Order. Don Silva unloading on Claudio. Hurling him into the railing. I'm guessing this is because of last week with Moxley, who's obviously part of Blackpool Combat Club, and Uno. Claudio getting into the ring. There's a boot there as Silva goes out to the other side. Okay, so I'm guessing, is this just for like picture-in-picture purposes? Are they just doing this so that you can watch this rather than people coming down to the ring for the Battle Royal, maybe? Bell has sounded. I got this confused. This is a Battle Royal, isn't it? I missed something. Isn't this a Battle Royal? Casino Tag Team Battle Royal? The two teams start and other people. I mean, that's not a Battle Royal, is it? Have I missed something? The bell has sounded. They rang the bell. We've got all 4 men in the ring. It's picture-in-picture, said Lance. Are they chanting? Can't hear what they were chanting. I think it was something to do for John Silver. Yeah, picture-in-picture. Casino, so they come in later, says Lance. That is not... It's just like normal for AEW. I don't know. Is it perhaps the Battle Royal has always been this way and I just don't remember it starting off with 2 teams? Tag Team Royale underway. Right, we're counting down. So is this going to be like the hearts? Isn't it like the hearts and the diamonds and the whatever? This is a Royal Rumble, in it. We've just had 1 team come down. Have we had 1 team come down? Team enters every 60 seconds. Both tag team members must be thrown over the top rope. There are first 2 teams to start. Right, shot coming in there by Roosh. Wait, do we get a Joker if this is a casino? Blaze said it is similar to other casino battle royals. They come out in groups. Apparently not. They're going to come out every 60 seconds. They're going to be 1 team, is it? I didn't get shown that was like a hearts or anything. So next team, 60 seconds later, this is the Lucha Bros. So it's a Rumble? It's a Rumble, but rather than every 2 minutes someone comes down, every 60 seconds someone comes down. I'm not being funny. I'm not being silly. I remember that we had hearts and we had diamonds and we had all that kind of stuff. I don't remember this. I don't remember teams coming down every 60 seconds and coming into the ring. And you know what? I shouldn't have to remember, because there will be people that are watching this for the first time. And unless I missed it, I don't think they explained the rules anywhere. So what if I've only just started watching AEW? Like, maybe I missed the rules. Perhaps I missed the rules. Perhaps people will be like, nah, you missed the rules. They did go through the rules. They did tell you what was happening. You just missed it. So maybe I missed it. I didn't see it, though. Shots coming in, right? The ring's starting to fill up now. Boot by Claudio. We've got Roosh in there. John Silver in there. Claudio in there. No one's been eliminated yet. John Silver going over to the corner. And Dark Order working together. Claudio picking up Phoenix. Taking him over to the side and looking to dump him over the top. Is Penta. Kick coming in by Penta. And again, Phoenix grabbing a hold of Claudio. Roosh comes over, grabs a hold of Penta. Kick coming into the back there by Phoenix. On the edge of the ring. It's been 60 seconds now. Oh, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. United Empire Aussie Open. Making their way down. So Aussie Open coming down. The Aussie. Aussie. John Silver being picked up. Kick coming in there by Penta. Still no eliminations left to go. Big kick coming in there by Aussie Open. Claudio had got Silver. Claudio against the ropes. Uppercut there by Silver. Picks up Claudio. Tries to get him over the top rope, but is prevented by Wheeler Yuta. Claudio goes in between the ropes. Silver in the corner. Moves out the way. Kick coming in. Grabs a hold of Yuta. Step up Enziguri. Wow. Into a stunner. Into a German. Lovely work by Dark Order. Wheeler Yuta is saved by Claudio. On the edge of the ring. Kick coming in. Aussie Open. Picking up Dark Order. They've got both of Dark Order up. Dark Order get back on their feet, though. Dark Order are eliminated. Dark Order are the first team gone. First team gone. It will be FTR, but don't tell Days, said TJB. Ron said Yuta is wearing his Subway gear again. All right, we just had a look over at the stage. Okay, we've got Wheeler Yuta, Claudio on the outsides. Beating up Dark Order, even after they got eliminated. They can go back into the ring, though. Dark Order can't. Tomorrow on HCTV, Ring of Honor Wrestling. That's coming in by Claudio. Yeah. Every time I think it must have been a minute, then it does go over to the countdown clock. I'm sat here going, it must have been a minute. I'm gonna time this next minute. I'm gonna time them. I'm a bit late, but right, here come I don't know what you call them now. The sports entertainer. They're not 2.0, are they? Daddy Magic and everything. Dark Order is still around. Can we use Wep to be a front for our Booger Sugar Nose Candy? Go for it. Dark Order eliminated. Call me shocked. Bryan Danielson is going to be the champ. Kicks coming in. That's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's been a minute. That's been 60 seconds. And I was late as well. I'm sure they said it was every 60 seconds. We're at 118, 119, 120, 121, 123. WrestleMania next month. Already. That's come around quick. Yes. Yeah, it's going to be good. Looks like a good card. It must be every 2 minutes. Here we go. 8. Getting down to the final 10. 14, 13, 12. Yeah, it looks like it's every 2 minutes. Top Flight. But they really should have shown the rules before this match. The Acclaimed are already in the Tag Team Championship match, so they won't be in this. Yeah, winners get added to that match. Top Flight have come in. Boom, Flatliner. Dark Order are the only team that have been eliminated so far. Good work. Top Flight working together. Clothesline. Claudio over the top. Claudio survives. Claudio survives. Against ropes. Top Flight. Drop kick. Daddy Magic is eliminated. Both people have to be eliminated. They did say that. Taz said that on commentary. Huh? That was only been a minute. It was 2 minutes. It was 2 minutes before. No, this one's been a minute. The Kingdom. What are you doing? 2 minutes and now this is a minute. Oh my God. In fairness, I never do that with the Rumble. I bet the Rumble is exactly the same. Right, here's the Kingdom. Splash coming in. FTR are going to show up. I've got a feeling, said TJB. Did FTR return? Well, they haven't returned. They may return. Chops coming in. Against the ropes. Over the top. Big strike. Okay, we've got Penta in there going face to face. Bennett is suplexed. We've got a lot of people down. It's been over a minute now. That last one was a minute. Now we're at 1 minute 18, 1 minute 19. This one must be 2 minutes now. I'm guessing this one will be 2 minutes. Who's here? Who are these people? Smart, Mark Sterling, Josh Woods. Into the barricade goes the Lucha Bros. Into the edge of the ring. They're not scheduled, apparently. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's been 2 minutes now. That's been 2 minutes since our last team. Been 2 minutes 13. 2 minutes 15. Been 2 minutes 18 since the Kingdom came out. Perhaps that was our last team. Perhaps that's it. Is that might be the last team? Right, they go over the top rope. Yeah, that must be it. That must be it. Kicks coming in by the Kingdom. Stomps coming in. Claudio going over to the corner, so seemingly no FTR. Dante Martin on the edge of the ring. Drop kick. Rouge gets eliminated. Rouge gets eliminated. In all fairness, we've only got 18 minutes left to go. Claudio coming over. Shots coming in. So it looks like it's going to be one of these teams. Top Flights, Aussie Open, Blackpool Combat Club, or the Kingdom. It's coming in. Is there still people coming in? I don't think so. I really don't think so. We're at 4 minutes now. We're nearly at 4 minutes since the last team. So I really don't think. I think it's going to be one of these. Big shots coming in as Top Flight are on the edge of the ring. Aussie Open. I mean, I would say if you're going to do this again in the future, it would be a good idea to tell people how many teams are in it and then include that number when the teams come out. Like with the Rumble, you know, there's 30 people and then we count down and here's 27. So you know how many people are left. To the outsides, Top Flight eliminated. Top Flight eliminated. What? Four minutes 46. Here's Danhausen and Orange Cassidy. Well done, everyone. Well done, everyone. This is wrestling. This is wrestling. Oh my God. I mean, you've literally got the Royal Rumble. You've literally got the Royal Rumble that you can use as a template for making sure that this goes to plan. I mean, maybe I could understand if the Royal Rumble didn't exist. If there was no, perhaps Tony's never seen a Royal Rumble. Perhaps he's never seen the Rumble and he's just trying his best to make this work. We got another team! Another team! That wasn't even a minute after the last team! Oh my God! Ah! I love it! I love it! I'm loving it! Oh my God! What? I mean, what? Are they just standing out back going, can I go out now? Yeah, go out now. But it's only been 45 seconds since no one's counting. Shall I go out in about 5 minutes? Yeah, go out in 5 minutes. Give it a go. How many more teams are there? I don't know. This is the greatest match ever. This is the greatest match ever. The best thing I've ever seen. Come on. If you're a wrestling fan and this match doesn't give you life, if this just doesn't bring joy to your soul, I can't. The Dark Order are back. Yay! Go on, Dark Order. Dark Order are my pick to win this. Oh, God. Is someone else coming down? Who knows? And Danhausen and Orange Cassidy are battling away with Butcher and Blades. I think we might be down to the final two. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. There might be another team about to come down. Mitchell said, Days, you and me are going to come out next. I think, guys, I'm in it. I've got to go. Sorry. I've got to go. Yeah, we're in it. The Guns have come out. They're watching. So because they're in the entranceway, I think we're probably done with teams coming down. Against the ropes goes Orange Cassidy. Stunner. Clothesline lariat. Orange Cassidy goes down. Butcher and Blades. Gonna look to throw Cassidy over the top. He goes over the top. Holds on. And Orange Cassidy was wobbling, and it seemed like the Blade hooked him and saved him with his leg. Danhausen eliminates Butcher and Blades. Danhausen and Orange Cassidy win one of the greatest matches I have ever seen. There's not many things in this world that are going to bring you joy like that Casino Battle Royale. Undoubtedly brought you joy. Now we've got a post-fight beatdown. Brilliant. How long we got left? 12 minutes. No FTR. No FTR. The crowd is like, what? Oh, it's fun. Here's the Acclaimed. Yo, now listen. The Acclaimed. Right? The Acclaimed are in there. Billy Gunn is in there. Perhaps they're in the match. Maybe they were in the match. I don't know. Right, we've got MJF, Bryan Danielson going up against each other at Revolution. We're going to be hearing from them tonight. Right. MJF and Bryan Danielson. FTR definitely going to WWE, said TJB. Right, we are just waiting for this segment. Should be a good segment, this. This will be a good segment, I'm sure. Final 10 minutes of the show. Settle down after that Casino Battle Royal. Which I think we could all give some feedback points to Tony Khan on. You know, I mean, honestly, AEW All Access, I would love to be in Gorilla for that Battle Royal. I would, what's Tony's reaction to that Battle Royal? Has that gone as planned? Is he happy about it? Is it just carnage back there? Like, is there a reason as to why teams were coming out at different times? Is there a reason as to why there was seemingly so much confusion? Is there a reason as to why we weren't told how many teams were in it, or what number team this was that was coming down? Or is there a reason as to why Taz had to tell us on commentary that you have to eliminate both members rather than us getting that, like, you know, on a graphic? Which, as I said earlier, maybe there was a graphic and I just didn't see it. But I didn't see it. I didn't see anything at the start of the match. So, like, I'd genuinely, and I'm not just saying this, I would love to see Tony now. Like, is he pleased with that? Is that gone well? Is that, yep, great work, guys, great work, killed it, exactly what we were looking for? Or is he back there pulling his hair out at the fact that teams were coming out at different times and, like, the crowd seemed a little bit unsure as to what was going on, and I don't know. I'm genuinely would love to know what his reaction is backstage right now. Are they all back there right now going, brilliant work, guys, brilliant, patting each other on the back? Killed it. Is anyone telling him that could be tighter and better and presented better? Is anyone having that conversation with him? I don't know. Could be carnage back there. There could be like big problems. There could be things that we just don't know about. Right. Final segment. 8 minutes to go. Donald said, unfortunately, I don't think he's sober. I don't know. To be honest, I think that he is naturally, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for. I think he's got a natural, not flamboyance, not the word I'm looking for, but I think that you look at some of the things that he does and some of the ways that he acts just don't seem quite normal for whatever normal is. Don't know what normal is, but the way that he comes out, screams at the fans, and the way that he like hugs people. You know, when like he sees like a card or someone, he holds on to them and looks. You just don't see businessmen acting that way. Very different with some of the things that he does. I know people have joked and said that he's on drugs and all this kind of stuff. I don't know that he is. It might just be that he's naturally a bit. Again, I can't really find the words. I don't think it is flamboyant. Is there a bit of social awkwardness there? Is there like a bit of I don't know. I can't. I'm not a doctor. I couldn't say. Again, we joke a lot, and like when I am being serious, it's hard to say I'm being serious, but I'm being serious when I say I genuinely would love to see backstage right now, see how he feels that segment went, and if that is what he's looking for, and if he's like, yeah, hold it, or if he's like, he knows that it didn't go as smooth as it could have gone. I don't know. I really don't know. But this is what I would love from the AEW All Access show. Yeah, All Access. Give me that access. If it's all access, then show me these things. Yeah, honestly, we don't know if there could be another, exploding barbed wire incident where the ring, it's meant to explode, and it's, it doesn't go to plan. There could be something like that happens at a pay-per-view in the future. Will the All Access show give us the backstage reaction to that? I would have loved Tony's reaction to the exploding barbed wire finish. I would have loved that reaction. Imagine his reaction when was it Sammy got hit the concrete floor, or was it Matt Hardy? It was Sammy versus Matt. One of them hit the concrete floor and knocked himself silly. Again, his reaction to that. Do you know what? Literally, just put a camera on Tony. That's what I want the AEW All Access show to be. I just want it to be an hour of Tony reacting to different things that are happening on the show. I want to watch a Tony Khan AEW watch along. That's what I want to watch. That's my dream. Right, here is Bryan Danielson. Made his way down. If you grew up that rich, then you would be weird AF, says William. That is true. Yeah, I mean, does that play a bit of a factor? Okay, we got Bryan Danielson in the ring with Renee Paquette. Baguette. I like this. I like putting Renee in there. A little over 7 years ago, I was forced to retire. 2 years later, I came back. If you fight for your dreams will fight for you, said Danielson. And MJF interrupts. There's a cheer. There's a loud cheer for MJF. It's MJF. Shut up. You hate me because people respect me and you think you deserve that respect, said Danielson. Hates me because I've got a wonderful wife and kids. You think you deserve all of these things, but you've done nothing to earn them. Good Bryan Danielson promo. If there's one thing you deserve, it's your fiance leaving you. MJF making his way down, takes his jacket off. You don't seem like the kind of person I want my daughter to marry. Danielson said he fought poverty, he fought depression, he fought head injuries. Good from Danielson. Shut up, basically. Shut up and listen to what I've got to say. I wanted to fight. That's why I came to AEW. My new dream is to become AEW World Champion. God damn it, I am willing to fight for it. Good. You better be ready to fight with everything you've got for 60 minutes. You are going to get your effing head kicked in, said Danielson. They must have bleeped that in America. Did not get bleeped on Fight. Wow. Wow. You're going to get your effing head kicked in. How did that come across in America? They did bleep it, said Alex. I'm so glad it wasn't censored, said Alfie. Gonna get your effing kicked in. They did audio cut it. They did bleep it. Wow. CJ said, when he said crowd noise, I felt that. Listen, he said it, and he properly said it, and you could hear it loud and clear on Fight. There'll be clips. There'll be clips of that doing the rounds on social media already, I would imagine, of him actually saying the word. So if you want to hear Bryan Danielson, saying the F words, it's out there. Woo! Right, get in your final thoughts, your final scores. We've got the poll, which is nearly at 700 votes. 6 more votes. 6 more votes. 5 more votes. Get your votes in. And we'll see where that finishes up. But put your scores in for the show as well. Was cut. They added crowd noise. 5.5 said Rock and Sock. Jojo said 5. 7 said Mitchell. 7.5 said Alfie. 7 says to heal. Big T says 0. Zoom Station says 5. Rare Breed said 7. Godfather's Host says 2 cheeks out of 2 cheeks. Donald said 5. Travis says -5. Ron said 6. Meave says 6. Rare Breed's 7. He just walked away after, or he said more after the bleep. No, that was it. He was in the ring. He just went, you're going to get your effing head kicked in. I think probably mic drop at that point. Red Breed said 7. Dylan said 7. Pitfall 3. Unsafe ladder match. Rio Storm seems sloppy and stiff. The Battle Royal. Not much casino in the Battle Royal. No jokers. No card suits. Is a bit strange, isn't it? That they call it the Casino Battle Royal when, as you said, you know, that is the card suit stuff, isn't it? I don't know. I mean, they must have called an audible at some point and changed it to be a bit more like a rumble. Shakeem says 5. Paul said 0.4. Rare Breed said NXT was good. I watched it this morning. 575 says RM Cool Boy. Goku said 5.5 as well. Phase Coaster said 6.5. Luke said 7.25. John said 6. CJ Smith says 6.5. Jonathan said 7.77. What's my score? I think it's really hard because if you want to be critical, I mean, that Casino Battle Royal is just horrific. But I just had such a wonderful time watching it. You know what I mean? I just had a great time watching it. I honestly think the worst that Dynamite can be is when it's boring. When, like, you know, there's matches that are happening, but the matches are a bit flat. They haven't had much, like, going on backstage or in between, and we just go from match to match, and it's all a bit flat, and there's not really anything happening. That's the worst that Dynamite can be, for me. I would much rather take, like, some botches and, like, bad battle royals and all this kind of stuff. I get a form of entertainment out of that. And then there is some good stuff on the show as well. That promo from Danielson is brilliant. That's great. Felt that. That was good. That was good. So enjoyed that. And, you know, the Peter Avalon, as he said, put in a bit of a fighting performance, which was good to see. I don't know really what else I can find to really raise up and say, oh, yeah, this was really good. I did enjoy the commander guy running on the ropes and diving to the outsides. I have said before, though, that outside spot where people are just standing waiting for someone to jump onto them. I don't care if it's AEW. I don't care if it's WWE. I do find those spots to be a little silly. I do always think, like, just move out the way. Why are you just standing there? Just move. If they jump to the outside and end up splashing the concrete floor, they'll soon not do it again. So, yeah, I don't know. That one, though, I'd have to watch it and see again and see, like, you know, if everyone's standing and just waiting. But him walking on the rope, I thought looked, you know, pretty cool. And you could make the argument that because he's, like, walking and he's got to walk at a bit of speed, like, to make sure he keeps his balance, because he's got to do it at certain speeds, it actually means that when he then springs, he's actually going with a bit of momentum. So I can actually even make an argument for it adding to the move, It's not just there, like, look what I can do, circus trick. I could make the argument that he's having to do it at a certain pace to keep his balance, and then bang, and it just adds to the momentum, you know? Visually, I thought it was good. And there was a few bits like that, but all in all, there's not loads here that I can say that was amazing. That was amazing. So I understand the sixes. I'd be down, probably be there. Again, though, I can't say this is a 2 or a 3 or like a 4 or like, you know, I can't sit here and because I was entertained. I was entertained. You know what I mean? I was entertained, maybe for the wrong reasons at times. But this was an easy watch. I didn't find this dragging. I didn't find myself getting bored. It was an easy watch. So I'll probably be about a 6 in the end. Probably settle on a 6. I'll tell you what it did do though. I am excited for the hour match, the Iron Man match. I am excited for that. I always was. I actually think that the Moxley promo was pretty good. We can debate until the cows come home as to whether, like, you know, he should be bleeding all the time, but seeing him in that stairwell, blood dripping down his face, pool of blood all on the floor, and he's just talking about how much it means to him. And, you know, these two have been engaged in a feud for months now. So this definitely feels like it's the end of that story. So I actually thought the Moxley promo was pretty good. Just him backstage, no crowds, not having to worry about letting the other person speak. Just go, just talk. Do it when blood's pouring down your face, dripping all over the floor. Like, it's quite impactful. And Hangman's response was all right. So that match is one that I don't know. I'm up for watching it. I think it's going to be a bloodbath, of course. And I don't know if it's going to be quite to my taste, but they've got my interest. A bit of a shame, no FTR. I know you couldn't really expect FTR being in that battle royal, but I do agree. Would have been a nice way to have just brought them in if they did have them and then put them into a big match, you know. Come in as the Jokers, win the battle royal, go into that tag match, but seemingly not. It was Orange Cassidy and Danhausen instead. I'm down for that match. I think the card looks pretty good, actually. The card looks pretty good. So, yeah. We've said for weeks and weeks and weeks that Revolution's going to be an important show. Let's see what they can do and deliver. I still feel exactly the same about that. And I think the card looks good. I think we are ready to go. That's it. I mean, we don't watch Rampage. I'm sure there'll be some final touches made on Rampage. We don't watch that, but yeah, let's go. Sunday, we'll be here. We'll be doing it. I still need to set the stream up, and I'll go off and do that now. Let's end this poll, shall we? Justin said, I'm saying 4 out of 10. That Royal Rumble was funny, though. It was a 10 out of 10 just for the amazing Battle Royal. Do you know what? I do feel that way. I feel that way as well. Like it is like, it was a talking point, wasn't it? I feel like everyone's going to have an opinion on that Casino Battle Royal. If you really hate AEW, really hate them, can't stand them, just you're going to rip that thing apart. If you love AEW, I think there was probably some decent stuff in there. You know, there was some nice little moments that I'm sure you was entertained. If you are in the middle, you're not passionately in love with AEW, but you don't hate them either, which I must admit, I think is where I am. I was just put a smile on my face, to be honest. Just put a smile on my face. And as I said earlier, maybe not for the right reasons, but hey, as long as you had fun, that's all that matters, isn't it? Who's going to leave Revolution as AEW champion? 2/3, 66% say MJF. Bryan Danielson, 33%. Do you think we get any surprises at the pay-per-view? I think we're going to need something. I'm not saying that we're going to need CM Punk. I'm not saying we're going to need FTR. I think surprises in the sense of Britt turns on Jamie or something like that. Like, I feel like we need something significant needs to happen. Like, as I said, Britt turns on Jamie, or House of Black lose and then they split up, or the Elite lose and they split up, or yes, CM Punk comes back, or yes, FTR come back. Something that's just going to give us momentum, something to look forward to as we go into next week's Dynamite. So, if this is going to just be a load of matches, results go the way, say, the champs retain, and there's not really much that comes out of it. I mean, look, you'll tune in to Dynamite next week because Dynamite will surely have to start some new feuds. So whatever they do, Dynamite is, I think, going to get a number next week, because even if it did go that way and there was no surprises, then that would just put more pressure on Dynamite to move stories along and start new feuds and things along those lines. But it would be a lot better for AEW if something big happened at the pay-per-view, everyone spoke about it for 48 hours, and then bang, you should get a nice rating on Dynamite as a result. So I think they could really do with something. And normally they do, in all fairness. Normally there's something that goes down at the pay-per-view. So I couldn't tell you what it would be. I really don't know. CM Punk coming back, FTR coming back, Britt turning on Jamie, one of the trios breaking up. Those are kind of the things that are in my head. That's kind of what I'm thinking, but it would be somewhat completely left field, couldn't it? But we will be here live for Sunday. Of course, we're here on Saturday with UFC. I am going to try and do the Misfits boxing show as well. I need to go and set all that up now, so I do need to go. But appreciate the support. Appreciate people joining us. Hope you got some out of the show tonight. And as we said, we are back on Friday. And we will be doing SmackDown. And then we've got a lot of big streams this weekend as well. So thanks a lot for watching. Appreciate the support as always. And I will see you again next time. Bye for now.